It is Friday, October 3rd, and the province has reported the first death related to the measles in Alberta.
Go home, stay home, forget about it. Not gonna happen.
The Premier's latest pipeline pitch receiving a swift rebuttal from many in British Columbia. And 12 new tracks from Taylor Swift arrived just hours ago, and watch parties are planned for today. Your morning starts right now. Welcome to your Friday morning. Nice to have you here as we start things off and make our way towards the weekend, Kim. And it seems like we're shaping up weather-wise just fine.
Indeed. Happy Friday, everybody. We're going to be enjoying lots of sunshine today. Later on, we may get some overnight showers. Tomorrow, 30% as well, and just a little bit below seasonal. I'll dive into your weekend forecast coming up in just a few minutes. Kat, back to you.
All right, thank you, Kim. Well, Alberta has recorded its first measles death this year. The province says the child was born prematurely after the mother contracted measles. The child died shortly after birth. Minister Adriana LaGrange issued a statement but did not clarify how the child died or where. Her statement also says the measles during pregnancy can lead to serious complications, including miscarriage, preterm labor, and stillbirth. The province's website shows a little more than 1,900 cases reported since January, with 152 hospitalizations. Doctors and other health officials have been warning about the seriousness of this outbreak for months, saying low vaccination rates are putting pressure on hospitals.
We don't know whether the individual involved could have been vaccinated or for other medical reasons may not have been able to be vaccinated. But we know that if numbers are high enough in the community as a whole, we can garner herd protection. So, this is the textbook disease where we need to be proactive. We need to be preventative.
In July, Alberta reported the most measles cases per capita in North America. A man wanted on a Canada-wide warrant connected to extortion cases in Edmonton has been arrested at the airport here. 21-year-old Arjun Shahan is accused of being a part of a drive-by shooting in Edmonton, Sherwood Park, and in Winnipeg in 2023. No one was injured in the shootings. A Canada-wide warrant was issued for his arrest last year. Police say he was apprehended last month at the airport flying in from India. Officers say the alleged ringleader of the extortions, Maninder Dhaliwal, is believed to be in the United Arab Emirates.
We are working with our federal government in trying to negotiate his extradition back to our country to be able to answer to those charges. The challenge right now is there is no extradition treaty in place with the United Arab Emirates, so it just makes the negotiations just a little more complex and time-consuming as a result.
To date, 6 individuals have been identified in connection to Project Gaslight. Police once again urging the South Asian community here to report any extortion attempts. And just one day after a push by our province to jumpstart a new bitumen pipeline to the west coast, the opposition is mounting. Many BC First Nations calling the proposal a non-starter. CTV's Tim Brooke reports.
While she pushes to build a pipeline through northern BC, some First Nations leaders have a message for Alberta's Premier.
My message to her is go home, stay home, forget about it. Not going to happen.
Some Indigenous groups along potential pipeline routes plan to fight the Alberta government project.
The so-called consultation declaration on the part of Premier Smith is bogus. Our groups are already beginning to mobilize for the battle.
The Union of British Columbia Indian Chiefs, which represents 135 First Nations, is against the idea. So too is a group of coastal nations, including one that stretches to Prince Rupert, one of the potential pipeline destinations.
I work collaboratively with our hereditary chiefs who are the title holders, and our mandate from the title holders is that there will be no crude oil pipeline within our territory.
I think once people understand what's what's in front of them, what the opportunities are, especially the opportunity of lifting themselves and their quality of life to a better quality of life than they've ever had before, I think people will think about things a little differently.
Alberta is also calling for the West Coast tanker ban to be lifted, insisting transport of oil is much safer now than it was just a few years ago. And while there are clear challenges, there is some support in BC.
We're for responsible development of our natural resources. We know it can be done safely. We know it can be done with environmental protection.
And the CEO of one of the Alberta companies supporting the proposal says the majority of Canadians will benefit from another pipeline to the West Coast.
Not everybody is going to be 100% on side with all these projects, regardless of what project is. That's just not the way of any modern society. I mean, some people will like them, some people won't.
Tim Brooke, CTV News, Calgary.
Now, if the federal government does approve a new pipeline as early as November, completing the project will be a lengthy process. Energy analyst Richard Masson says the province's $14 million may not even be enough to cover the front-end work required just to put together a regulatory application. That includes picking a route, working with Indigenous stakeholders, impact benefit assessments, and more. He says even that process would take up to 3 years.
And then the feds are talking about a 2-year approval process after that. Then the construction period will be 3-4 years. So it's a long time. This is not a quick fix to any problem. It is something that's going to take, determined effort.
He says getting to that point would also require major commitments from energy companies, which have so far been reluctant to invest in new pipelines. Elections Edmonton says after voting is finished on October 20th, it may take until the next day to find out who won. The provincial government banned electronic vote tabulators last spring. Elections Edmonton says ballot counting will begin at the 220 voting stations here in Edmonton after they have all closed at 8 o'clock on voting day. There will also be a count center for all advanced votes, special ballots, and votes from institutions like hospitals and seniors' homes. That will also begin shortly after polls close. Elections Edmonton says it anticipates some preliminary results will be available on election night. Officials say they do not expect full preliminary results until the following day. Animal rescue organization Wild North says there has been a surge in calls throughout the city for suspected cases of bird flu. Now, the biggest risk during the spring and fall migration is when birds gather in large numbers like this. Infected birds will often display drunk-like symptoms, swimming in tight circles and having odd head movements. Although highly transmissible from bird to bird, officials at Wild North say the risk to pets and people remains relatively low. People should avoid touching feathers and keep pets away from bird carcasses and feces.
It would be very difficult for you or I to get the bird flu, although technically we can. It's a zoonotic disease. It's something that we can get from them. So if ever you're in contact with birds that you suspect of being infected, it's really important to have good hygiene practices to wash up properly, sanitize things.
Anyone who spots a bird they suspect may have avian flu, you should leave it alone or call Wild North for guidance. A popular park in Edmonton, closed for nearly 3 years, is ready to open again. Construction crews are putting the finishing touches on Horlack Park. Landscaping and electrical work will continue in the coming months before the park opens back up to the public. The city says the project was necessary because of aging infrastructure.
In order to make sure that we address all the scopes of work that we anticipate around accessibility and safety and rehabbing the facilities and the infrastructure, we really had to focus that into the 3 years.
The work will cost $134.5 million. The park is now scheduled to open sometime this winter. So let's bring in Kim for a look at the forecast. They had predicted sometime in the fall for the opening of Horlack, which would have been nice to get down there, enjoy the trees again.
Yeah, and the leaves, the nice falling leaves.
Exactly. So it looks like we're going to have to wait just a little bit longer.
Hey, we'll take it, though. We will take it. I miss Heritage Days being there, so anticipating next summer already.
Yeah.
A long time. That's right. Yeah, hopefully everybody's enjoying the nice weather we've had. A little unsettled a couple of days this week with some rain, but otherwise, been pretty decent. Above seasonal temperatures. Right now, pretty chilly at 6 degrees. So it's one of those mornings, again, you'll need the fall jacket. And then later on, just taking off the layers. Today, a high of 17 degrees, just a little bit above seasonal. Our average today is 14. Last year, we hit 12. So warmer than 12 degrees in last year back in 2024. Here's a look at the day. So you don't see any rain in the forecast here. It just ends at 5 p.m. But mostly sunny throughout the early morning, afternoon hours. And then it starts clouding over after 4 o'clock. A high of 16 at 5 p.m. And then there is some chance we get rain later on this evening, starting at 9 o'clock tonight into the overnight hours. Tomorrow for Saturday, 12 degrees. Not bad. A little chillier than what we've been used to. A 30% chance of showers later in the afternoon. Mostly sunny weather on Sunday and a high of 12. Rest of the week, we have some sunshine, a little bit of rain, a bit unsettled. They'll have your full 5- and 10-day forecast coming up in just a few minutes. It is time to celebrate the spooky spirit and eerie elegance of Halloween. CTV Your Morning is on the hunt for the most hauntingly creative neighborhood displays, and one lucky winner will receive a grand prize of a $500 gift card to Big Box Outlet Store. Submit your photos by going to ctvedmonton.ca, or you can scan the QR code on your screen. Kent, back to you.
All right, thank you, Kim. Well, Stony Plain Road Dining Week has returned for a second year. This whole event is designed to give businesses some exposure and bring back regular customers as LRT construction continues through the area. El Corazon restaurant says it's lost 60% of its customer base because of all the road work and traffic disruptions.
It's just hard to get here, right? It's hard to get here, and they're stuck in traffic. They're stuck idling. What used to be a 5-10 minute drive is now turned into a 35-40 minute drive for our customers.
Stony Plain Dining Week wraps up on Sunday, October 12th. Construction is scheduled to continue until 2028. All right, let's look at the rest of the drive through this city as we now hit 12 minutes past 6 o'clock on a Friday morning. 90th Avenue, 175th Street to 178th. Eastbound reduced to 1 lane for power duct repair. That's lasting until Halloween. 94A Avenue, 62nd Street to 68A Street. Various lane closures for construction until the 12th. And 111th Avenue, 111th Street to 113th. Expect delays for Edmonton Fire Rescue Boot Drive. That is from 8 tomorrow morning until 4:30. Firefighters out on the street passing the boot and helping raise some money. Well, still ahead, a sigh of relief as police work to identify an unknown substance inside an elementary school, plus a risk to the air in Los Angeles because of an oil refinery fire, and a new era in music. Taylor Swift drops her 12th studio album.
Take a look at Edmonton's gas prices as we head into the weekend. Overnight, the average cost went down a couple of pennies, now just closer to $1.27 per liter. Now, if you're looking for cheap gas, it's not easy. The lowest gas price just above $1.15, well, close to $1.16 per liter right now. You'll have to go to the Petro-Can on 118th Avenue. Then close to $1.17 per liter, it's the Costco on Winterburn Road on the west side of the city.
Gas prices brought to you by Action Furnace. Fixed right or it's free. Programming brought to you by James H. Brown Injury Lawyers, the heavy hitters of injury law.
A new Auditor General report reveals the Ontario government distributed millions of dollars in grants to political donors.
The Ford government has essentially taken a program designed to train workers, a good program designed to train workers, turning it into a slush fund.
A report from the Auditor General said political staff sidestepped the opinions of nonpartisan bureaucrats to hand out about $750 million in grants from the Skills Development Fund to applicants of their choosing. The report called this not fair, transparent, or accountable. Now we're learning about the companies receiving those grants, many of which had directors or executives that made sizable political donations to the governing Progressive Conservative Party.
When I got there, they said that the photo capture was down, so the slip that you normally get, it didn't have our picture on it. But honestly, it was very quick. I got through security and customs very easily.
A slowdown at major airports lasted for a few hours yesterday, according to the CBSA. The outage was linked to the one that happened on Sunday at airports in this country, knocking out customs kiosks for about 10 hours. This was all caused by an unforeseen technical problem during routine systems maintenance. And a huge sigh of relief for parents at a Moncton, New Brunswick elementary school, showing up to find hazmat teams surrounding the school.
This could be any kind of a scare. We know there's a lot of crazy things happening in our world right now, so we have to treat it exactly like it could be something, very dangerous.
Emergency crews investigating an unknown substance that 10 people were exposed to, one woman in an office inhaling it and finding it extremely difficult to breathe. This all prompted a hold and secure inside the school and a massive deployment outside. It turned out to be nothing more than sodium bicarbonate, which is basically baking soda. Classes then resumed as normal. Air quality is being monitored this morning in an area just outside of Los Angeles after a major fire at an oil refinery. Massive flames erupting into the sky at the Chevron refinery in El Segundo, south of Los Angeles. There were multiple reports of an explosion, and officials urged people to stay inside. The refinery has its own fire department, and officials say crews were able to contain the flames to one area of the facility. No injuries have been reported. The cause still unknown. And Taylor Swift's tortured poets era has come to an end. Now she is a showgirl.
Hey, thank you for the lovely bouquet. You're sweeter than a peach, but you don't know the life of a showgirl, babe. And you're never ever gonna.
The Life of a Showgirl is Taylor Swift's 12th studio album. There are 12 new songs. And in case you forgot, this was all announced at 12:12 a.m. on August 12th. Taylor Swift has said her goal for this new album is to, quote, have melodies that were so infectious that you're almost angry at it. Along with this album, there's also a film. The official release party of A Showgirl will be in select theaters across the country starting today. And that will include the world premiere of the music video for the lead single, The Fate of Ophelia, along with behind-the-scenes footage, lyrics, videos, and never-before-seen personal reflections. Time for a break. We'll be right back.
School Day Forecast is brought to you by the Alberta Teachers Association. Strong schools equal a strong Alberta.
6:23 on this Friday, October 3rd. We're under a clear sky, pretty dark out there still, and chilly as well. Our mornings is getting quite crisp in some areas in the province. You'll see here, close to zero. So that means frost territory for some areas in southern Alberta. That includes Red Deer starting at the freezing mark this morning and Coronation as well. Chilly in Banff in the mountain parks, 5 degrees in Jasper. So 6 actually is not bad compared to some areas in southern Alberta. Here is a look at your school day forecast brought to you by the Alberta Teachers Association. Stronger schools equals a stronger Alberta. So definitely a fall jacket this morning will feel quite cool, and then later on this afternoon, especially when the sun hits, will feel nice and warm. When they're walking home from school, it'll be 16, 17 degrees, which is our high today. So we'll take a look at the forecast. As I mentioned, there is some rain for us later on, anywhere between 7 to 9 o'clock. We may see some of these systems kind of move through the Edmonton region, but tomorrow morning, or rather tomorrow afternoon into evening, the real story is this heavy rain coming through for some areas south and southwest. Seeing that in Jasper, Rocky Mountain House, and Red Deer, a 60% chance of really heavy rain. For us, we may see some spotty rain for Saturday afternoon. This will be after 4 o'clock, but mostly sunny weather on Saturday, a high of 12 degrees on Sunday, mostly sunny weather, and then a pretty decent start to the work week.
Hi, everyone. Mark Rowe inside the Sports Center newsroom with your must-see moment from Thursday forward. We're going to head to Game 3 in the Bronx. Yankees, Red Sox, top 8. It's 4-0 Yankees. Jarren Duran pops it into foul territory. Ryan McMahon gives chase and makes the fantastic catch. Goes head over heels and flips into the Red Sox dugout, but manages to hold on. McMahon delivering the play of the postseason so far, and he is your must-see moment from Thursday. Friday on TSN, Week 18, and the CFL kicks off with the Rough Riders taking on the Red Blacks. Pre-game coverage begins at 7 Eastern, 4 Pacific. That's all from the Sports Center newsroom. Have a great day.
TSN Must-See Moment. Brought to you by Century Casino. 3 great locations: Edmonton, St. Albert, and Century Mile.
As we head into the weekend, we like to talk about some of our favorite stories. This week, it's been pretty unique. Many people were off on Tuesday, including us, for Truth and Reconciliation Day. And that meant we got a visit from our good friend, Lance Cardinal. So Lance made us an orange shirt pin. He talked about the symbolic importance of the orange shirt and how it can start an important conversation. Lance also gave a talk about this week about making a miniature of the residential school his grandparents attended. Important conversation, but also a very cool craft you can make very easily at home. I kept the orange shirt pin next to my desk, and I still look at it and think he is so meticulous in the way he puts the details and everything. Like, I would have just been like cutting out the shape of an orange shirt and like, there, all done. But he's so talented, and he really, as you can see from his miniatures, he pays attention to the details. So well done, Lance, and thank you very much, and keep this at my desk.
And he always makes fun of me because I can't keep up.
No, you can't even draw a circle to save your life.
It's very tough. Very tough. Best of the week for me is the Canadian Finals Rodeo. This event is so many different things. It's the culmination of a long season of hard work for athletes with some big prizes on the line. It's a showcase of the livelihood and lifestyle of many people in this province, and it's a whole lot of fun. On top of all that, they're expecting 40,000 people in attendance over the next couple of games. That's like 3 Oilers games in a row at Rogers Place. About half the crowd is likely coming in from outside the city, so welcome to everyone who is here competing or taking part in the showcases this week. Hopefully you're enjoying yourself. Hopefully the city is treating you well. Certainly happy to have you here.
Absolutely. Yeah, I've seen a lot of cowboys and cowgirls downtown as well. And it's really fun. It's like the vibe of downtown. Every so often you kind of see the city come alive, and it's events like this that take place in central Edmonton that really showcase our city and our hospitality as well.
It is very fun. If you've got something great going on with you, you can text us at 10400. Of course, we're taking the contest people,
our Spooky Spirit contest.
Yeah, taking in your Halloween decorations. Many of those starting to pop up around the city. It's time for us to take a break. We'll be right back.
Programming brought to you by the music of Star Wars with your Edmonton Symphony Orchestra. Learn more at winspearcenter.com.
It is 6:30 here on your Friday. Hopefully off to a great start to your day. Certainly another lovely start to a morning here, but things are mixing up as we get towards the weekend.
For sure. We have a mixed bag. I mean, mostly sunny for Friday, not bad vibes to start off the weekend, but we're going to have some clouds move in later this afternoon, and there's a chance we get some rain overnight, some rain tomorrow perhaps, heavy rain in southern Alberta. Talk all about that coming up in just a few minutes. Kent.
All right, thank you, Kim. Well, Alberta is reporting its first death linked to measles, the second in Canada this year. CTV's Nicole Lampa is live with the latest on this morning. So, Nicole, we know it's a newborn that died. Do we know where and when this happened?
Well, Kent, according to the province's dashboard, it happened sometime between the 20th and 27th of September, but no location was disclosed. An infectious disease expert says this is a sad outcome, but not unexpected.
This is heartbreaking. This is what we've been, really hoping the situation wouldn't get to. It's something we know measles can do.
A statement from Health Minister Adriana LaGrange says, in part, a child born prematurely after the mother contracted measles during pregnancy died shortly after birth. My sincere condolences go to the family during this profoundly difficult time. Her statement goes on to say measles during pregnancy can lead to serious complications, including miscarriage, preterm labor, and stillbirth. The province's website shows a little more than 1,900 cases reported since January. Doctors have been warning about the seriousness of the measles outbreak for months. One infectious disease expert says it's unclear why the mother was not vaccinated, but says low vaccination rates are an issue. In July, Alberta reported the most measles cases per capita in North America.
But we know that if numbers are high enough in the community as a whole, we can garner herd protection, community and protection to look after those in our community of all, backgrounds. And I think that this is highlighting a larger failure in that sense.
And the infectious disease expert also says in addition to this death, he believes that there are likely now a number of Albertans who are now dealing with the long-term effects of measles, given that a number of them were hospitalized this past year. Health Canada says some of those risks include blindness, deafness, and brain injury. We'll have more on this part of the story in half an hour. Kent.
Okay. Nicole, thank you. An Alberta Health Union is considering job action.
HSA is strike ready.
Healthcare workers rallying at the Royal Alexandra Hospital calling for a better deal from the province. Last month, members of the Health Sciences Association of Alberta rejected a tentative agreement with Alberta Health Services, the deal including a 12% general wage increase over 4 years. While a strike vote has not been called, the union says it is preparing for one.
We have not seen an action like this in the history of this union. So somebody has done something to upset these members, and they're here to put their voice out loud and clear. Not good enough was that deal? Get back to the table, or we're going to move to the next steps.
Following September's vote, Alberta's finance minister said the province was ready to return to the bargaining table. And we're now a weekend away from a teacher's strike, and more childcare options are emerging. The TELUS World of Science is planning day camps for students between grades 1 and 5 at a cost of $80 a day. The City of Edmonton is offering to host kids at the John Walter Museum, Fort Edmonton Park, the Edmonton Valley Zoo, and Matart Conservatory. Laser City is also preparing for the possibility of day camps.
We don't want there to be a strike, right? We'd love that, everything kind of comes together and we don't have to do these, and we're ready for that to happen.
The City of Edmonton, TELUS World of Science, and Laser City all say the camps will continue as long as necessary. Well, during the season premiere of MasterChef Canada, the Edmonton contestant was eliminated.
Veronica, did you have salt on your station?
Yes, I did.
Okay. I'm getting under seasoning throughout the whole thing pretty stridently.
Okay.
I like all the different applications to it. I just wanted there to be some salt.
I agree with you. It could definitely use some salt. And I'll say, I think you played very safe.
That is Veronica McCrae presenting her fish tacos recipe. She was one of 3 chefs sent home during the first episode of season 8. She says she's honored to be part of the 15 chefs selected. Now, McCrae is the founder of The Good Place, an Edmonton organization dedicated to strengthening the Indigenous community and empowering others in their healing journey.
As an Indigenous woman, I wanted to bring representation to television in the culinary world and advocate for food security and hopefully be a positive role model for Indigenous youth of Canada.
You can watch that episode on CTV.ca or on Crave. MasterChef Canada airs Tuesdays right here on CTV.
Listen, we can't win them all.
Listen.
We rocked out Amazing Race. They're like, they can't win again on another show.
And hey, if Veronica wants to bring those fish tacos around, you boy would enjoy. For sure.
This guy, absolutely. Same. Hey, still patio weather to enjoy those tacos this weekend. Maybe not on Saturday and during the rain, but I think 12 degrees. If you just look at the entire forecast, that's not bad. 6 right now. It's pretty chilly under a clear sky. But yeah, we're going to see rain move throughout the southern parts of the province and west of us as well. And we may get a little bit of that drizzle here in the city. Overnight, for sure, we're going to get some rain tonight. Today, 17 is our high, average 14 degrees, so we're just above seasonal for today. And then as we head into the weekend, a bit chillier. There's a record set back in 1921 at 27 degrees, which would be extremely hot for October. Take a look at the temperatures across the region. They really vary, so a bit chillier off to the west and Stony Plain showing up as 4 degrees. And then at freezing, so that is frost territory, down south towards the Edmonton International International Airport at 0. So 6, not too bad for right now. Very chilly starts to the morning as we begin October here. Throughout the afternoon, it's mostly sunny. Then it will get cloudier after 5 o'clock. There's rain overnight, and then tomorrow 30% chance of showers. But overall, a pretty decent weekend for weather, just a little bit below seasonal. Your morning just got a whole lot richer. We're giving away a staggering $20,000. Imagine what you could do with an extra 20 grand. Dream vacation, home renovations, paying off bills. The possibilities, they are endless. Today's code word is dollar. Head to the contest page on ctvedmonton.ca, or you can also scan the QR code on your screen. Enter dollar with your info for your chance to win CTV Your Morning Edmonton's $20,000 giveaway. Good luck, everybody. Kent.
Thank you, Kim. Let's take a look at your drive. 638 here on a Friday morning. 58th Street, 92nd A Ave to 92nd Ave. All closed up for construction work through the weekend until Monday. 102 Street, 104 Avenue to 105, closed for the Canadian Finals Rodeo until Monday. Hopefully everyone is enjoying that downtown. And 107 A Avenue, 95th Street to 96th, down to a single lane each way for drainage repairs until October 12th. Kim?
All right, thank you very much, Kent. Well, coming up, a music fan's collection gets him a run-in with Paul McCartney. Plus, what do you do about an illegal U-turn when there's no drivers? Side-by stories are next. And the municipal election is just weeks away, and one of the top issues is the cost of city services. We hear from each councillor about their respective tax plans. That's in 10 minutes' time. Later, the cost of pet ownership is going up, including veterinary services. We talk to a specialist about why and what people can do about it after 7 o'clock. Stick with us.
Wake up with Your Morning Edmonton. Brought to you by CIR Realty. Making real estate easy in Edmonton, Red Deer, and Central Alberta. Programming brought to you by Century Casino. 3 great locations: Edmonton, St. Albert, and Century Mile.
It is time to look out into the great beyond. Astronomers have observed a rogue planet that is growing. Yeah, check that out. It doesn't orbit any star. They're calling it Cha, and then a bunch of numbers right now, which is super easy to remember.
Wow.
This is between 1 and 2 million years old, which is young for a planet. It's still forming, growing every second right now. It's been adding material at about 8 times faster than a few months ago. So it's gobbling up gas and dust at a record rate of 6.6 billion tons per second. Wow. Now, it is 620 light years outside of our solar system.
Oh, good.
So it's not a threat, at least not yet. But listen, a rogue planet.
You never know what it's going to do. And somewhere in there, there's a really cool sci-fi movie that somebody can write. Yeah.
Stay tuned.
Okay, so my story, it's really cool, but it's a bit of a bummer. I'll tell you why.
Okay.
So a Vancouver record store owner not only returned a piece of music history, but he also got to meet Paul McCartney in the process.
Whoa. We put the tape on, and we thought we'd be hearing like record noise or whatever, and it was like the Beatles were in the room with us.
So Rob Frith has owned Neptune Records for 44 years, and over that time, he's bought a lot of random music collections. These tapes came in about 10 years ago, but he didn't get around to listening to them until this year. To his surprise, it was the actual original master tape that the Beatles recorded in 1962 as on an audition tape for Decca Records. Frith posted a video of the song on social media. It didn't take long for the story to reach Sir Paul McCartney. He invited Rob and his family to Los Angeles, where the Friths were able to give him the tape in person. They were asked not to take photos of the meeting, but he did sign some Beatles memorabilia for them. For me, I'm like, that's the bummer, because like, is anybody going to believe you if you went and met Sir Paul McCartney and you didn't have a photo to prove it?
That's what the autographs were for, I suppose.
I guess, yeah.
All I'm thinking is, you probably could have auction that off for a lot of money, right?
Yeah. Then he can pay. Then he can pay for that photo with Sir Paul McCartney.
Listen, meeting Sir Paul, that's great.
Yeah,
so is a lot of money.
Cool.
Anyway, it's time for us to take a break. We'll be right back. Well, after one term in office, Mayor Amarjeet Sohi is stepping aside and 13 people are running to replace him. Many candidates have similar stances on major issues like taxes, safety, housing, and how Edmonton should grow. CTV City Hall reporter Jeremy Thompson spoke with the 5 frontrunners as ranked by the Chamber of Commerce to find out what sets them apart.
Life has become more expensive since Edmontonians elected the current council in 2021. Post-pandemic inflation is still straining wallets, and property taxes have only added to that pressure over the last 4 years. Top mayoral candidates all say they'd bring down the tax burden and make life more affordable, but they've all got different visions for what that means.
In this last 4 years, I would describe the tax increases as excessive when we're talking 28% over 4 years.
Former councillor Michael Walters says he'll cut taxes, freeze transit fares, and lower utility rates if he becomes Edmonton's next mayor. For all the tax increases over the last 4 years, he believes Edmontonians aren't seeing their money in action.
It's about using the money we have wisely. That's why we have very well-paid city managers and deputy city managers that are to work with council to make sure that we're deploying the tax money that citizens give us for the services that they're buying.
Along with smarter spending on core city services like clearing snow and cutting grass, Walters wants to bring in more revenue by growing the industrial tax base, promising faster permitting and tax rates that compete with regions like Nisku or Atchison. All this with the goal of attracting 10 new industries to Edmonton.
Federal experience and business experience.
Raheem Jaffer isn't seeing value for taxes either. The Member of Parliament turned restaurant owner is promising to cancel the 6.4% tax increase currently in the budget for 2026, finding savings through audits.
I said I'm confident we can find $400 million just by how the city is not currently in its lane or spending on things that it shouldn't be.
He believes the city should stick to the basics, which means some subsidized programs would be cut. He didn't list which ones.
Those other things that are not core services, if you get out of the spending of them, they're not going to affect the average person because they're expecting the core services to be a priority.
I'm not cutting transit. I'm not cutting police. I'm not cutting, debt service. I'm not cutting operations.
Two-term councillor Tim Cardmell wants to lower business taxes to attract companies to the core and keep property tax increases roughly in line with inflation. He'd also like to rebuild the city budget with core services in mind, but says council's current plan would give city staff too much control.
I think it's just too much to ask administration to effectively cut their own budgets and prioritize what's within their own budgets because to them, everything's a priority. And I don't fault them for that.
Let's shine brighter together, guys. Political newcomer Omar Mohammed is promising a direct approach to city spending.
That we need to pause all proposed non-essential major capital projects.
The pediatric dental surgeon is critical of what he views as nice-to-haves in city projects, like the velodrome that's part of the new Coronation Rec Center. With him as mayor, he says property taxes wouldn't budge.
Why are we buying these luxury items? To me, that's like buying a Ferrari at home when I don't have milk in the fridge. Not acceptable, right? Not when we have the problems we have in our city.
Every other candidate is trying to promise the world that you can have all of these incredible services and amenities and we can cut your taxes. That's not realistic. It's actually misleading.
Andrew Knack says 3 terms on council have taught him the true cost of tax cuts. His plan is to keep building the projects he believes a growing city should have while avoiding surprise tax increases like the 9% bump in 2024.
Roads that need to be widened, rec centers to build, libraries to build, fire halls. We're short 4 fire halls in this city right now. These amenities, this type of infrastructure is critical to people's quality of life.
While taxes are a major cost driver, the candidates have more ideas to make life in Edmonton more affordable. Mohammed is pitching a subsidized grocery store for low-income Edmontonians. Jaffer and Walters want to bring back free parking and ditch the bag fee in the city's single-use items bylaw, while Cartmel has pledged to repeal the whole thing. Knack promises to expand subsidized access to transit, libraries, and rec centers.
The outgoing council directed a major cost-cutting exercise that trimmed $60 million from the 4-year operating budget. Staff then found a further $160 million in the budget to reallocate to council priorities like snow clearing, transit, encampment response, and tax cuts. Whoever takes over as mayor will have to get creative to find more savings. Jeremy Thompson, CTV News, Edmonton.
Well, still ahead, pushback on potential pipelines. First Nations delivering a strong message to Alberta's premier as she looks to build a line through northern BC.
My message to her is go home, stay home, forget about it. Not going to happen.
More on the pushback and what else the province is proposing to help oil and gas. It's coming up after 7 o'clock.
Programming brought to you by Action Furnace. Fixed right or it's free. School Day Forecast is brought to you by the Alberta Teachers Association. Strong schools equal a strong Alberta.
We're coming up on 7 o'clock on this Friday, October 3rd. This is a view from our CTV News drone. You're looking at Quesnel Bridge. Seems to be flowing nicely in both directions. So far, so good for traffic. Nothing to report, which is always good news, especially when we head into the weekend. We don't want to start off with bad vibes there. There is some fog in the River Valley in some areas, but nothing like it was yesterday. That fog was affecting visibility on yesterday's commute. Today seems all right. I just took a look at the traffic map. Some heavy volume developing in some spots, but otherwise a pretty good start. Temperatures across the province, wow, really varying here. If we head down south, you can see that Red Deer already in frost territory, 0 degrees, so freezing for Red Deer this morning. 1 degree in Banff, 8 degrees in Calgary, so 6 not bad. We're somewhere in the middle compared to the rest of the province. As we head to our school day forecast brought to you by the Alberta Teachers Association, stronger schools equals a stronger Alberta. You will have to wrap them up in some sort of fall jacket, layers for sure. 8 degrees is what we're starting at. 15 by lunchtime, and then when they're heading home from school, taking the school bus, getting home, 16, 17 degrees, and the clouds will be coming in. In the 10-day forecast, you can see for tomorrow, there is a chance we get 30% chance of rain tomorrow afternoon, but otherwise just a bit above seasonal to start off the work week. It is forgot there was an entire intro. It is October 3rd, and we have these milestones to share with you. We're wishing Julia a happy 10th birthday. Love from Mom, Grandma, and Papa.
Happy 14th birthday to Layla. Love Mom and Dad.
And a happy 10th birthday to Sully in PEI. Have an awesome day. Love Baba, Papa, and the rest of your Alberta family. Stay tuned. We'll have more milestones coming up in the next hour.
Submit your milestone at ctvedmonton.ca under Your Morning. You could win a $100 gift card to Coolman's Greenhouse, which we draw for every week.
Okay, let's head into the weekend with a win for both of us, shall we? Clue number 1. What are we looking for? A snail has more than 25,000 of this or these. Mosquitoes have 47. And armadillos have 10, while humans have 32. The numbers are really confusing me. I think the only reason I'm getting this is because of the blurred image in the background.
Oh, I didn't even look at that.
Yeah. What did you put?
I put taste buds.
Taste buds. Okay, I put like teeth. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah. It's teeth. It is teeth. Today is World Smile Day.
Oh,
and
wow.
I bet you anything, dentists are going to be busy after Halloween, after those kids are eating all the candy, including me.
Use all 32 on Smile Day today,
right.
everybody.
That's right. The news you need to start your day begins right now.
For your Friday, October 3rd, the province has now reported the first death related to measles in Alberta.
Go home, stay home, forget about it. Not going to happen.
The Premier's latest pipeline pitch receiving a swift rebuttal from many in British Columbia.
Hey, thank you for the lovely bouquet.
12 new tracks from Taylor Swift arrived just hours ago, and watch parties are planned for today. Your morning starts right now. Welcome to your Friday morning, Edmonton. It is just after 7 o'clock, and we begin somewhere in Alberta where a newborn child has died, and the province says that death is linked to measles. CTV's Nicole Lampa is outside the Misericordia Hospital here in Edmonton for us, live with the latest this morning. So, Nicole, this is not the first Canadian child to die from measles this year. When and where did the first one happen?
Kent, another baby died in June in southwestern Ontario. Now here in Alberta, according to the province's dashboard, the baby's death happened sometime between September 20th and September 27th, but no location was disclosed. An infectious disease expert calls this death heartbreaking, but says the disease is preventable.
We're always just, really hoping that this never finds its way here into our communities, into our province, and tragically it has.
A statement from Health Minister Adriana LaGrange says, in part, a child born prematurely after the mother contracted measles during pregnancy died shortly after birth. My sincere condolences go to the family during this profoundly difficult time. Her statement goes on to say measles during pregnancy can lead to serious complications, including miscarriage, preterm labor, and stillbirth. The province's website shows a little more than 1,900 cases reported since January. Doctors have been warning about the seriousness of measles outbreak for months now. An expert we spoke to says it's unclear if the mother was vaccinated or had a medical condition preventing immunization, but says low vaccination rates are an issue. In July, Alberta reported the most measles cases per capita in North America. Severe outcomes also include blindness, deafness, and brain injury.
In addition to the death, we have seen more than 100 people hospitalized in the province already, with a significant number of those in intensive care units. So just because we have seen our first death doesn't mean that measles has not had a significant impact on the health of Albertans over the last 8 to 9 months.
And the expert we just spoke to also points to the fact, as he mentioned, that the province now had 152 people who were hospitalized this year because of measles, and 15 of them were in the ICU. And he also says that this is putting strain on a healthcare system that is already stressed out. We'll have more on this part of the story in half an hour. Kent.
Okay, Nicole, thank you. A man wanted on a Canada-wide warrant connected to extortion cases in Edmonton has been arrested at the airport here. 21-year-old Arjun Sahan is accused of being part of a drive-by shooting in Edmonton, one in Sherwood Park, and in Winnipeg in 2023. No one was injured in the shootings. A Canada-wide warrant was issued for his arrest last year, and police say he was apprehended last month at the airport flying in from India. Officers say the alleged ringleader of the extortions, Maninder Dhaliwal, is believed to be in the United Arab Emirates.
We are working with our federal government in trying to negotiate his extradition back to our country to be able to answer to those charges. The challenge right now is there is no extradition treaty in place with the United Arab Emirates, so it just makes the negotiations just a little more complex and time-consuming as a result.
To date, 6 people have been identified in connection to Project Gaslight. Police are once again urging the South Asian community to report any extortion attempts. Well, just one day after a push from our province to jumpstart a new bitumen pipeline to the West Coast, the opposition is mounting. Many BC First Nations calling the proposal a non-starter. CTV's Tim Brooke reports.
While she pushes to build a pipeline through northern BC, some First Nations leaders have a message for Alberta's Premier.
My message to her is go home, stay home, forget about it. Not going to happen.
Some Indigenous groups along potential pipeline routes plan to fight the Alberta government project.
The so-called consultation declaration on the part of Premier Smith is bogus. Our groups are already beginning to mobilize for the battle.
The Union of British Columbia Indian Chiefs, which represents 135 First Nations, is against the idea. So too is a group of coastal nations, including one that stretches to Prince Rupert, one of the potential pipeline destinations.
I work collaboratively with our hereditary chiefs who are the title holders, and our mandate from the title holders is that there will be no crude oil pipeline within our territory.
I think once people understand what's in front of them, what the opportunities are, especially the opportunity of lifting themselves and their quality of life to a better quality of life than they've ever had before, I think people will think about things a little differently.
Alberta is also calling for the West Coast tanker ban to be lifted, insisting transport of oil is much safer now than it was just a few years ago. And while there are clear challenges, there is some support in BC.
We're for responsible development of our natural resources. We know it can be done safely. We know it can be done with environmental protection.
And the CEO of one of the Alberta companies supporting the proposal says the majority of Canadians will benefit from another pipeline to the West Coast.
Not everybody is going to be 100% on side with all these projects, regardless of what project is. That's just not the way of any modern society. I mean, some people will like them, some people won't.
Tim Brooke, CTV News, Calgary.
Now, if the federal government does approve a new pipeline as early as November, completing that project will be a lengthy process. Energy analyst Richard Masson says the province's $14 million may not even be enough to cover the front-end work required just to put together a regulatory application. That includes picking a route, working with Indigenous stakeholders, impact benefit agreements, and more. He says even that process alone could take up to 3 years.
Then the feds are talking about a 2-year approval process after that. Then the construction period will be 3-4 years. So it's a long time. This is not a quick fix to any problem. It is something that's going to take, determined effort.
Masson says getting to the point would also require major commitments from energy companies, which have so far been reluctant to invest in new pipelines. Elections Edmonton says after the voting is finished on municipal election day, October 20th, it may take until the next day to find out who won. The provincial government has banned electric voting tabulators. And Elections Edmonton says the ballot counting will begin at the 220 voting stations after they've closed at 8 o'clock on voting day. There will also be a count center for all advanced ballots, special ballots, and votes from institutions like hospitals and seniors' homes. That will also begin counting after polls close. Elections Edmonton says it anticipates some preliminary results will be available on election night. Officials say they do not expect full preliminary results until the next day. And a popular park in Edmonton, closed for 3 years, is nearly ready to open again. Crews are putting the final touches on Horlack Park. Landscaping and electrical work will continue in the next couple of months before the park will open back up to the public. The city says all of this was necessary because of aging infrastructure.
In order to make sure that we address all the scopes of work that we anticipate around accessibility and safety and rehabbing the facilities and the infrastructure, we really had to focus that into the 3 years.
The work costs $134.5 million. The park is now scheduled to open sometime in the winter. So, Kim, it was supposed to open in the fall. They've pushed it back a little bit, but after 3 years, what's another couple months, I guess?
What's another couple of months?
Sure.
Yeah, we anticipate a lot of the festivals happening once again at Horlack Park. I'm looking towards like next summer, in the future. But good to see things are progressing there. Let's head on over to the CTV News drone. You're looking at Fort Edmonton Park. Look at that fog. Fog once again, the story this morning. I just checked on the map too. There are some spots of limited visibility on the Henday on the southwest side. So Kent will have more details about this. But yeah, Fort Edmonton, oh, looking spooky. And I believe their Halloween Festival Dark is on right now. So that's actually really very fitting. And let's head on over to our forecast. 5 degrees. So we've dropped a degree over the last few minutes. It is quite clear, but as you saw in some parts of the River Valley, the heavy fog affecting traffic on the Henday. So again, Kent will have details about that. Today, our high is 17 degrees. That's just above average of our average of 14 degrees. Last year, we hit 12, so just a bit warmer for today in Edmonton. Throughout the day, we'll see mostly sunshine, but then after 4 to 5 o'clock, the clouds will move in, and then after 7, anywhere between 7 p.m. to 9 p.m., we will see some rain, and then that rain possibly lasting overnight as well. Tomorrow, reaching a high of 12 degrees, so a little more seasonal for Saturday and Sunday. We'll definitely feel chillier because we've been so close to 20 over the last few days. 12 degrees for Saturday, a 30% chance of rain for the Edmonton region after 4 o'clock, and then Sunday, mainly sunny weather, and once again a high of 12 degrees. I'll have your full forecast coming up in just a few minutes. It is time to celebrate the spooky spirit and eerie elegance of Halloween. CTV Your Morning is on the hunt for the most hauntingly creative neighborhood displays. One lucky winner will receive a grand prize of a $500 gift card to Big Box Outlet Store. Submit your photos by going to ctvedmonton.ca or by scanning the QR code on your screen. Kent.
All right, thank you, Kim. Well, Stony Plain Road Dining Week is back for a second year. This whole event is designed to give businesses some exposure and help bring back regular customers as LRT construction continues. El Corazon restaurant says it's lost 60% of its customer base because of all the road work and traffic disruptions.
It's just hard to get here, right? It's hard to get here, and they're stuck in traffic. They're stuck idling. What used to be a 5-10 minute drive is now turned into a 35-40 minute drive for our customers.
Dining Week wraps up on Sunday, October 12th. Construction is scheduled to continue in the area until 2028. 12 minutes now past 7 o'clock. As Kim was mentioning, fog reported on the southwest Henday near the river crossing. Limited visibility as a result, and that is a high volume area over the next hour or so. So heads up if that's part of your drive. Volume issues eastbound Highway 16 from Century Road to Highway 44 around Spruce Grove. So things are slow there. Also slow westbound Yellowhead Trail from 121 Street to 127th. And Kim mentioned dark at Fort Edmonton Park begins today for the next little while, so very appropriate with the fog indeed. Well, today is the deadline for the Canadian Food Inspection Agency to respond to the Supreme Court in the case of 400 ostriches set to be culled in BC. 69 of those ostriches from this flock died of H5N1. The case has gotten international attention. It also has the attention of CTV National News reporter Jeremy Sharon this morning. So, Jeremy, the Supreme Court has put a stay on that call. The CFIA expected to respond today. What do we know about how this is going to unfold?
Yeah, look, Kent, the legal process, is coming close to an end here, or perhaps the beginning if the Supreme Court decides to take on this case. But this is, a legal battle that the ostrich farmers have been dealing with for some time. In December of last year, 70 birds died from the avian flu. Standard protocol after that is to cull the entire herd. And the CFIA has been involved since then looking to do just that. But the ostrich farmers have been fighting this in the courts, at the federal court, at the Federal Court of Appeal. Both of those times, their arguments were turned down, or their appeals were turned down, and they've pushed this all the way to the Supreme Court. And so as you've touched on, we've reached the point now where today the Canadian Food Inspection Agency has to officially respond to the court's stay of this cull order. Then the ostrich farmers are going to have about 2 days to provide their final response to the Supreme Court, and then it's expected, according to many experts, that in pretty short order the Supreme Court will decide officially whether or not to hear this case, and that will be the last effort that these farmers will have to try and save the ostriches. Of course, if they decide to hear this case, then everything will be on pause until a ruling by the Supreme Court. If the Supreme Court chooses not to take on this case, then the orders previous to this will stand, and the CFIA will have every right to move forward with the cull of these roughly 400 ostriches.
Now, the farmers have had a lot of support from quite a few different voices. What are we hearing from them?
Yeah, look, what we're hearing from the farmers is that they believe that, and what they're arguing in court is that things have changed since December of last year. They believe these birds are healthy now and are actually scientifically valuable now, and that the birds should be saved. The CFIA argues that they were infected with a pretty, lethal version of the virus, and that the chance of infection or reinfection continues even at this point. And for that reason, and for health and safety reasons, they should be moving forward with the cull. And so, again, the farmers have challenged this through the courts at the federal level, at the Federal Court of Appeals, and have been unsuccessful so far and have pushed this all the way to the Supreme Court. But to your point, they've had, a lot of support. There are protesters that have gathered, with them on the farm in Edgewood, BC, that's southwestern BC. But they've also garnered international attention. Robert F. Kennedy Jr. In the States has been supportive of these ostriches and saving the ostriches. So they've garnered really international attention when it comes to now this legal battle that has reached the Supreme Court. And we could hear in the next, days or week or so, a final decision from the Supreme Court on whether or not to actually hear this case.
We'll certainly keep everybody updated. Jeremy, thank you.
Anytime.
Well, still ahead, Canadians' reactions to a private member's bill trying to eliminate daylight saving time. Plus, the price of owning a pet is climbing. We'll talk to a veterinarian about why and what can be done.
All right, let's take a look at Edmonton's gas prices as we head into the weekend. A nice surprise, the average cost around town has gone down a couple of pennies overnight, so close to $1.27 per liter. Now, if you're looking for cheap gas, as of right now, at $1.15 or close to $1.16 per liter, rather, lowest gas price you can find at Petro-Can, that's on Southview Way, a Circle K as well in Spruce Grove, and other areas surrounding Edmonton also reporting, now $1.13 per liter at Petro-Can in Leduc. So that's on 50th Avenue if you're joining us just south on the QE2.
Gas prices brought to you by Action Furnace. Fixed right or it's free. Wake up with Your Morning Edmonton. Brought to you by CIR Realty. Making real estate easy in Edmonton, Red Deer, and Central Alberta.
Well, according to a recent study, only 41% of pet owners reported taking their pet to the vet last year and following through with the recommended care. Of those who reported declining pet care, 2/3 said it was because of financial barriers. Joining us this morning is author and veterinary critical care specialist, Dr. Marie Hollowaychuk. Thanks so much for being here. We've got your book here. We're going to talk about that in just a moment. But first, let's talk about these rising vet bills. Why are they rising?
I think there's many factors. There's inflation, of course, that is impacting all prices across all industries. And of course, we've had a big rise in demand for veterinary care. A lot of people adopted pets during the pandemic, and people are loving their pets more than ever before. So that comes with wanting to give them the best care, which means trips to the veterinarian. And with that rising demand and unfortunately a lower supply, we've had a shortage of veterinarians across Canada, especially in our rural areas for a few years now. So that high demand and the low supply is also going to increase prices as well.
So can anything be done at this point?
Well, I think it's really important for pet owners to consider that cost of care when they adopt an animal or when they purchase an animal. So in terms of preparing for those costs, there's certainly pet insurance that can be very, very helpful. We know that pet insurance is especially great for accidents, injuries, even some diseases that can be diagnosed during their lifetime. So important to get that early on so that there's coverage for those conditions as the pet grows up. There's also wellness plans that people can talk to their vets about. Some veterinary practices offer plans that are paid on a monthly basis or annual basis, and they cover maintenance care, vaccines, checkups, and other things that might come up over the year. So that can give families a little bit more of a predictable payout for what their pet might need.
Okay, now you talked about a shortage of vets as well. Can you talk to us about what's leading to that issue?
Yeah, it's a great question. I think that there are certainly, with that rising cost and of course, with the rising demand for vets and the large number of veterinarians that are retiring, you know, we've got all of our boomers that have been retiring over the years. We just haven't quite kept up with that demand, and veterinary schools across Canada are increasing their numbers to try to meet that. Unfortunately, we've had a lot of veterinarians which have left the profession as well. Some due to burnout, some because they've just opted to scale back their hours because it has been so busy and it has been so stressful over the last few years. So there's many different factors at play.
Now, this brings us to your book, Compassionate Calling. What would readers expect as they pick this up?
So this book is intended to really give that behind-the-scenes look at what veterinary medicine is all about, what veterinarians experience on a regular basis. I think sometimes there's this impression that our jobs are amazing with puppies and kittens all day, and there's some big challenges amidst the joys of the work that we do. So they're going to get to understand the journey of a veterinarian, like I said, all the things they experience in their day-to-day work and what the future holds. So what we're going to hope to do about these shortages and all of the changes that we're seeing in the veterinary industry today.
Well, it certainly is important work to a lot of people out there. Marie, thanks so much for being here. We appreciate your insight, and congratulations on the book.
Thank you.
It's available now. For more information, you can visit mariehollowaychuk.com.
All right, lots to think about. Thank you very much, guys. It is 7:23, Friday, October 3rd. Happy Friday, everyone. Here's the view from the Action Furnace River Valley Skycam. Action Furnace, fixed right or it's free. Oh, I'm a little close to the camera there. I didn't realize I was going to be on so quickly. Okay, so there is some fog in the distance, as you notice, past the high-level bridge. There are some spotty areas around the city where we're seeing heavy fog in low-lying areas. So right now we're sitting at 5 degrees. We've lost a degree in the last hour, and there are some areas where drivers are reporting limited visibility because of the heavy fog, especially on the southwest end of the city on the Henday at the river crossing. So just be aware if that is part of your morning commute. Here are your temperatures across the province. Again, 5 degrees in the capital region, 2 in Red Deer, and then starting off at the freezing point in Banff at just 0 there. So really chilly starts. In the futurecast, you'll see that there is some rain in the forecast too. So in the south side of the province and west of us, they're seeing some heavy rain after 2 o'clock in the afternoon. For us, it's just a 30% chance of showers. The rest of the weekend looks pretty decent, 12 degrees on Sunday. Your morning just got a whole lot richer. We're giving away a staggering $20,000. Imagine what you could do with an extra 20 grand. A dream vacation, home renovations, paying off bills. The possibilities are endless. Today's code word is $. Head to the contest page on ctvedmonton.ca, or you can scan the QR code on your screen. Enter $. With your info for your chance to win CTV Your Morning Edmonton's $20,000 giveaway. Good luck, everybody. Kent.
All right, thank you, Kim. Well, police in Manchester say their officers may have accidentally shot a victim while responding to a deadly attack at a synagogue. Police now believe the suspect was not carrying a gun, and the only shots fired were from police. Police shot and killed a man after he rammed a car into pedestrians outside the synagogue and then attacked them with a knife. 3 other people are hospitalized. Police say one of those victims was shot. Police are calling this an act of terrorism. The UK Interior Minister urging organizations of pro-Palestinian rallies to postpone or cancel their events amid rising tensions. Sean Diddy Combs is scheduled to be sentenced this morning for federal convictions on 2 prostitution-related charges. Combs has been jailed in a detention facility in Brooklyn since his arrest in September of last year. He's facing up to 10 years in prison for each count of transportation to engage in prostitution. In July, a jury acquitted Combs of racketeering, conspiracy, and sex trafficking charges, allowing him to avoid a possible life sentence. Ottawa has launched a new defense investment agency with plans to buy more military equipment from Canadian companies.
We're not going to be spending 75 cents of our dollar south. We'll be amortizing that money out in Canada where we can, and then spending it in other places where we have to.
The goal of the agency is to cut red tape and duplication. It will prioritize selecting Canadian companies for contracts valued at more than $100 million. The agency's first major decision will be about submarines. The purchase of F-35 fighter jets from the U.S. is currently up in the air as well. The Conservatives say the new agency is not necessary. Well, still ahead, how Edmonton's contestant on MasterChef Canada fared in episode 1. Plus, Taylor Swift's new album released early this morning, and we'll get a music expert's take on what makes her music so popular.
I'm Nicole Lampa. The province is reporting its first death this year related to measles. We'll have more on this after the break.
Beautiful city. It's 7:30 here on a Friday. Hopefully you're off to a great start to your day. Certainly some people came starting that day with the new Taylor Swift music.
That's right, yeah.
Looking forward to more analysis on this new album. What makes her just so popular with so many people?
I'm excited. I mean, those are just earworms. Song after song, she just topped the charts. And yeah, I think that album came out 2 o'clock in the morning, so some people might be on the same schedule as us. Happy Friday. Good morning, everybody. We're going to have a sunny day, but first, we're talking about some heavy fog throughout the low-lying areas of the River Valley. So Friday, the fog, especially if you're taking the southwest leg of the Anthony Henday, visibility may be limited. We'll take a look at your weekend forecast that has a little bit of rain in it. I'll have your 5 and 10 day coming up in just a few minutes, Kent.
Okay, thank you, Kim. Well, we are tracking the latest on the first death this year in Alberta linked to measles. CTV's Nicole Lampa is live with the latest on this. So, Nicole, we know that the person who died was a newborn. Was the mother vaccinated?
Kent, that part is unclear. According to the province's dashboard, the baby's death happened sometime between September 20th and the 27th, but no location was disclosed. An infectious disease expert calls the situation heartbreaking and then had this to say.
This isn't necessarily a blame game either. Like, we know nothing about the situation. We don't know whether the individual involved could have been vaccinated or for other medical reasons may not have been able to be vaccinated.
A statement from Health Minister Adriana LaGrange says, in part, a child born prematurely after the mother contracted measles during pregnancy died shortly after birth. My sincere condolences go to the family during this profoundly difficult time. Her statement goes on to say measles during pregnancy can lead to serious complications, including miscarriage, preterm labor, and stillbirth. The province's website shows a little more than 1,900 cases reported since January. Doctors have been warning about the seriousness of the measles outbreak for months. In July, Alberta reported the most measles cases per capita in North America. So far this year, there have been 152 people in Alberta hospitalized from the virus, with 15 in ICU. The infectious disease expert says this is putting an additional strain on an already stressed out healthcare system.
And we are seeing continual exhaustion, burnout, as well as substantial frustration when they're dealing again with diseases or viruses that 15 years ago were beat here in the province and essentially didn't exist.
And I just heard back from another infectious disease expert who says he is worried because of Alberta's low immunization rates will potentially lead to even more measles cases and outbreaks, especially when the cold weather settles in, saying prior to vaccines, this was known as a childhood infection that was spread mainly in schools. We'll have more on this part of the story in half an hour. Kent.
Okay, Nicole, thank you. An Alberta Health Union is considering job action.
HSA is strike ready.
Healthcare workers rallying at the Royal Alexandra Hospital, calling for a better deal from the province. Last month, members of the Health Sciences Association of Alberta rejected a tentative agreement with Alberta Health Services. The deal included a 12% general wage increase over 4 years. While the strike vote has not been called, the union says it's preparing for one.
We have not seen an action like this in the history of this union. So somebody has done something to upset these members, and they're here to put their voice out loud and clear. Not good enough was that deal? Get back to the table, or we're going to move to the next steps.
Following September's vote, Alberta's finance minister said the province is ready to return to the bargaining table. And we're now a weekend away from a teacher's strike. More childcare options are emerging. The TELUS World of Science is planning day camps for students between grades 1 and 5 at a cost of $80 a day. The City of Edmonton is offering to host kids at the John Walter Museum, Fort Edmonton Park, the Edmonton Valley Zoo, and the Matart Conservatory. Laser City is also preparing for the possibility of day camps.
We don't want there to be a strike, right? We'd love that, everything kind of comes together and we don't have to do these, and we're ready for that to happen.
The City of Edmonton, TELUS World of Science, and Laser City say the camps will continue as long as necessary. The head of Enbridge says the conditions are not right to invest in a pipeline right now.
Capital will go to where the conditions are set, and today the conditions are not set for that pipeline to exist in Canada.
The CEO of Enbridge wants Ottawa to overhaul some of its environmental policies, including the federal tanker ban on the northern BC's coast. BC's Premier David Eby says that is not happening, calling the tanker ban foundational. Well, during the season premiere of MasterChef Canada, the Edmonton contestant was eliminated.
Veronica, did you have salt on your station?
Yes, I did.
Okay. I'm getting under seasoning throughout the whole thing pretty stridently.
Okay.
I like all the different applications to it. I just wanted there to be some salt.
I agree with you. It could definitely use some salt. And I'll say, I think you played very safe.
That was Veronica McCrae presenting her fish tacos recipe. She was one of 3 chefs sent home during the first episode of Season 8. Despite the early exit, she says she's honored to be part of the 15 chefs selected for the show. Now, McCrae is the founder of The Good Place, an Edmonton organization dedicated to strengthening the Indigenous community and empowering others in their healing journey.
As an Indigenous woman, I wanted to bring representation to television in the culinary world and advocate for food security and hopefully be a positive role model for Indigenous youth of Canada.
You can watch the first episode on CTV.ca or on Crave right now. MasterChef Canada aired at a special time yesterday. It will now move to Tuesdays right here on CTV.
We're coming up on 7:40. Here is a live look through the CTV News drone. Here's looking at Quesnel Bridge and lots of yellow and oranges in the river valley now. Some parts actually this morning reporting some heavy fog, so those are the low-lying areas. But otherwise, Quesnel, traffic looks good. It does slow down a bit once you hit 53rd Avenue to Rainbow Valley Bridge. There's also a very serious collision, which Kent will talk about in just a bit here. So yeah, some fog reported on this Friday morning and a limited visibility if you are traveling southwest leg of the Anthony Henday near the river crossing. We're sitting at 5 degrees, really chilly start to this Friday, so definitely fall jacket for sure. And then later on this afternoon, you can take it off when it's a bit sunnier and warmer. Today, our high is 17. That's above seasonal. 14 is our average for today. Last year, we only hit 12, so we're doing a lot better for 2025. And then temperatures across the region really vary. Much chillier off in Stony Plain, 4 degrees off to the west, and then down south towards the Edmonton International Airport. Before, about an hour ago, they were at freezing, starting off at 0. So that's frost territory for us. Not as chilly overnight into the early morning hours just yet, but it is definitely coming. 6 degrees off to the east at Elk Island National Park. So we'll start the morning off quite sunny, and then we'll push some clouds into the region at around 5 to 6 o'clock. May see some rain into the overnight hours tonight, and then a 30% chance we get some rain. Rest of the province is seeing some heavy rain, including Red Deer tomorrow and Rocky Mountain House, so just be aware of that. But for us, just some spotty rain for Saturday, Sunday, sunny and a high of 12 degrees. This is your opportunity to travel to the heart of Africa's Namib Desert and come face to trunk with desert elephants. It's an elephant story you won't soon forget. Enter for your chance to win a 4-pack of IMAX passes to Elephants, Giants of the Desert at ctvedmonton.ca. Kent, off to you.
Thank you, Kim. We are about a month away from pushing clocks back to standard time, and there is another effort to re-examine that practice. Liberal MP Marie-France Lalonde will put forward a private member's bill on daylight saving time. She wants a pan-Canadian conference to decide on a set time to stick to year-round, and some Canadians we spoke to like the idea.
I would prefer not to fall back in the fall and have an hour more daylight.
I really don't like it. I find it messes up my sleep, and it takes days to kind of get adjusted.
I think it's a good idea to get rid of the daylight savings time. It causes a lot more problems and a lot of shock to people when they set back the clocks.
Some provinces, like British Columbia, have passed legislation to switch to permanent daylight time. However, that change would only happen if Washington State, Oregon, and California do the same. 20 minutes now to 8 o'clock. Let's take a look at your drive this morning. We have this crash that Kim mentioned, Stillwater Boulevard and 23rd Avenue. It is closed in all directions right now as police respond to this collision. So avoid the area if you can, if it's part of your morning drive. Heavy fog also has been reported southwest on the Henday at the river crossing. So that's limiting visibility in a high traffic area this morning. And also volume issues eastbound White Mud Drive from 53rd Ave to Rainbow Valley Bridge through all that construction work there. So heads up.
Harmony at Rutherford is a lovely seniors community on the south side of Edmonton, and today we're actually outside in the beautiful garden where you can actually have brunch, you can meet with your friends and family. I am joined by Alex Shipman, who is a retirement living consultant. Good morning, Alex.
Good morning.
So what is the difference between Harmony at Rutherford compared to other retirement communities?
It's an important question. Retirement living has not changed in 30 years, and seniors today are nothing like they were 30 years ago. I always joke and say, you know, you'll look at a photo of your grandfather at 40, he looks 75. A 75-year-old looks like they're 50 today. So Harmony at Rutherford is a truly independent retirement community where our residents get to do what they want when they want to. The owner of Harmony was looking around for a few years for his mother, Faye, and she didn't like, and the family didn't like what was out there. Everywhere, very regimented, set meal times, set seating, and a set menu. And that's not what anybody wants. Nobody wants to live off an alarm clock and be told what to do. So the owner, who's a property developer, basically came up with the concept of Harmony at Rutherford, and to basically give back to today's seniors in terms of the flexibility and the freedom that they've always been accustomed to.
Tell us about the suites.
Yeah, so every single suite has a full kitchen, stainless steel appliances, and importantly, in-suite laundry. And that helps the residents maintain their independence for longer. We have a woodworking shop, we have a crafting room with a pottery wheel and a kiln. We have a beautiful movie theatre, so they have Netflix and Disney and YouTube and a DVD player. We don't have a VHS, which some people ask about, but we also have a gym, and we have complimentary exercise programs. We have a games room, so we have live music, we have magic shows, we have comedy shows. So what's important for seniors is dealing with isolation and loneliness, and having all the amenities here at Harmony really help overcome that.
They're living better than us, wouldn't you say,
Exactly.
Alex?
Oh, yes, I'm going to move in soon, too.
Yeah. Come check it out yourself. The open house is tomorrow, October 4th, from noon until 4. For more information about the event, head to the website below. Well, coming up, Taylor Swift's Life of a Showgirl is out now, and it's already set Spotify records. How did she get so huge? The answer from a local music expert. That's next. Plus, it's a big week in our city with Orange Shirt Day and a massive rodeo event in town. Our best of the week is in 10 minutes' time. Plus, today could be the last day of school for a while. We have some ideas for what to do with your kids. Those details after 8 o'clock. Stick with us.
Your Morning Edmonton's Kitchen, provided by Trail Appliances and KitchenAid. Programming brought to you by James H. Brown Injury Lawyers, the heavy hitters of injury law.
Hey, thank you for the lovely bouquet. You're sweeter than a peach, but you don't know the life of a showgirl, babe. And you're never ever gonna.
Taylor Swift is back as if she ever went away. A new album, Life of a Showgirl, dropping at midnight this morning. Fans already eating up the latest from the biggest superstar on the planet, less than a year after her worldwide Eras tour ended. But what makes Taylor Swift's music so irresistible for so many people? Alexander Carpenter is a professor of music at the U of A and teaches a course on pop music analysis, which is fascinating. So you've written about the song in particular from Taylor Swift, Shake It Off, because of its structure. It seems simple to the ear, but it's not. Can you explain that?
For sure. Well, I mean, I chose that song to include in my analysis class. I taught it yesterday, actually. And so, in part because of all of the Taylor Swift songs and a lot of the interest in Taylor Swift, it has to do with these songs that are sort of more emotionally compelling and more emotionally substantive, maybe. And Shake It Off, for all of its qualities, doesn't really invite analysis. It is very simple. It seems very simple on the surface. I use it as a way to introduce the idea of pop analysis to my students. They're very skeptical about it. But the interesting thing about Shake It Off and why I'm interested in doing pop music analysis at all is that songs are sonic things. So as a musician, as a musicologist, I'm interested in the bones, you know, sort of taking it apart and figuring out how they work. So you're right, Shake It Off on its surface is very simple. There's almost nothing to it. But as you dig into it, you discover that it's quite complex.
And what is the complexity of a song like that?
Well, I mean, I started looking at it from the premise of, you know, how does this song even work at all? How is it even a song? It has 3 chords. It has a very short drum loop. It's not particularly melodious, but it is a total earworm. You know, it stayed on it charted high. It stayed on the charts for years. It's still, you can listen to it over and over again. So what is the explanation for that? So you have this relative simplicity on the surface. And as you dig in, you discover, or well, I discovered, one of the ways that this song works is through this very sophisticated kind of layering, so that it starts very thin and it gets thicker. This is the simplest way to say. And so it has a very clever sort of built-in momentum that catches the listener and pulls them along.
So she has songs that are very deep, and then some that don't seem that deep, but actually sonically are. Yeah. So there's a lot going on there. You've compared her performance to that of Wayne Gretzky. Can you talk about that?
Oh gosh, yeah. Well, yeah, I think, I mean, if anybody who sort of grew up, you know, playing hockey, interested in hockey, and remembers especially young Wayne Gretzky, there is, on the one hand, there is this seeming effortlessness, you know, that Wayne Gretzky as a player was intuitive, and everything seemed quite effortless. And then, of course, along with that, there's the awareness that this is years and years and years of grinding and a deep, deep awareness of the game. And so, like Taylor Swift, these elements kind of they work together. I use sometimes the musical metaphor of counterpoint. So. Counterpoint is when you have two independent melodic lines. They're independent, and yet they also have to work together. So in the case of some of these Taylor Swift songs, it is this relative simplicity that makes the song very accessible, and then there's the complexity that is deeper, and these two they're happening simultaneously.
It can make it broad to a lot of people, and it certainly has done that. Well, we certainly appreciate your insight on Taylor Swift songs, helping some people understand when they don't, and helping Swifties just confirm their fandom as well. Of course. Alexander, thanks so much for being here. There are a number of watch parties around Edmonton today, including a party at the Starlight Room, a film attached to this album release, so you can go check out that if you're so inclined. But still ahead, final day of the week and the finals for the Canadian Rodeo. We'll take a look at the CFR and our other favorite stories from the week after the break.
Into the weekend, we're talking about some of our favorite stories from the week, and it's been a very unique week because a lot of people were off on Tuesday, including us, for Truth and Reconciliation Day, and that meant we got a visit from our good friend Lance Cardinal. So Lance made us an orange shirt pin. He talked about the symbolic importance of the orange shirt and how it can start a conversation. Lance also gave a talk this week about making a miniature of the residential school his grandparents attended. Important conversation, of course, but also just a cool cool craft you can make very easily at home. And I actually have the shirt that he made us here. He is so meticulous with his details. Of course, he is like a very artsy, very creative person. But you mentioned because it's a magnet that we can also put on our clothes, we can also put it on the fridge, which is a great place to go. And we can see it all year round. So thank you very much, Lance. This is beautiful.
Very fun stuff. Best of the week for me is the Canadian Finals Rodeo. This event is so many things. It's a culmination of a long season of hard work for athletes with some big prizes on the line. It's a showcase of the livelihood and lifestyle of many people in this province, and it is a lot of fun. On top of all of that, they're expecting 40,000 people to attend. That's like 3 Oilers games.
Wow.
About half the crowd coming from outside the city. So welcome to everyone who is visiting Edmonton right now. Hopefully you're enjoying yourself and the city is treating you right. We're certainly happy to have you here in the city.
Our hospitality really shines around these events downtown. So seeing a lot of cowboys and cowgirls downtown. Very lively right now in central Edmonton. I'm here for it.
Very fun stuff. Now looking ahead to the best of next week. Next week we begin. Many people may remember this from last Halloween. A bracket. We have a bracket coming back, and we are talking. We are going to determine, as voted by you, the best Halloween candy.
And it was even hard to determine the list that would go into the bracket. We're like, should we have Smarties and M&Ms, or should we switch it up with this and that? Should we include chips and pop, or a toothbrush from a dentist?
Or an apple. So text us at 10400. What do you think should be on the bracket for candy starting next week? It's time for us to take a break. We'll be right back.
School Day Forecast is brought to you by the Alberta Teachers Association. Strong schools equal a strong Alberta.
Coming up on 8 o'clock. Ooh, look at the view from the CTV News drone. We have a hot air balloon on our hands, guys, flying up in the sky way above that heavy fog in some low-lying areas. Well, that is just a wallpaper for my desktop. We love it. Edmonton, you are gorgeous. Happy Friday, everybody, as we head into the weekend. Yeah, we're seeing some heavy fog on low-lying areas. That includes the southwest leg of the Anthony Henday near the river crossing. So if that is part of your commute, be careful. There is some limited visibility reported. Across the province, you can see some areas, southern Alberta, starting off at the freezing point. So frost territory right now, Coronation 0, freezing in Banff, 2 degrees in Red Deer. Let's take a look at your school day forecast, which is brought to you by the Alberta Teachers Association. Stronger schools equals a stronger Alberta. So we should be reaching at least 7-8 degrees towards the end of 8 o'clock. But as of right now, pretty chilly, 5-6 degrees right now. But the wind is quite calm. At noon, lunchtime, 15 degrees, mainly sunny weather throughout the early part of the morning and into the afternoon. But then after 5 o'clock, the clouds will come in and there is a chance we get some rain into the overnight hours. Into the weekend, 30% chance of rain, very light for Saturday. And then on Sunday, 12 degrees and sunny weather.
Milestones, brought to you by Coolman's Flower Shop. Colorful, fresh designs for any occasion.
We know this guy. This is Emmett. Happy 11th birthday, Emmett. Love your mom, Ash, who works here, Dad, and Austin.
And a happy birthday to Andre. Love Nat, Pino, and Rizzo.
Zoe is turning 9 years old. Happy birthday. Much love from Mom, Dad, Emerson, and Abuelita.
And a happy 70th birthday, Tatai. Love Emily, Liz, and McKay.
Submit your milestone at ctvedmonton.ca under Your Morning. You could win a $100 gift card to Coolman's Greenhouse, which we draw for every week.
Quick morning mystery, everybody, as we head into the weekend. A snail has more than 25,000 of these. That's your first clue. Mosquitoes have only 47. Armadillos have 10, while humans have 32. It's a lot of numbers in there, but it's a simple answer. It is teeth. Today is World Smile Day, so show off those pearly whites, everyone. The news you need to start your day begins right now.
Here on your Friday, October 3rd, the province has reported the first death related to the measles in Alberta.
Go home, stay home, forget about it. Not going to happen.
The Premier's latest pipeline pitch receiving a swift rebuttal from many in British Columbia.
Thank you for the lovely bouquet.
12 new tracks from Taylor Swift arrived early this morning, and watch parties are planned for later today. Your morning starts right now. Welcome to your Friday morning, Edmonton. Just after 8 o'clock, we are beginning with Alberta reporting its first death linked to measles this year. The health minister saying a newborn has died. CTV's Nicole Lampe is live with the latest. Nicole, do we know where this happened?
Kent, no disclosure location was disclosed. The province's dashboard says the baby's death happened sometime between September 20th and September 27th. An infectious disease expert says this is a sad outcome, but not unexpected.
This is heartbreaking. This is what we've been, really hoping the situation wouldn't get to. It's something we know measles can do.
A statement from Health Minister Adriana LaGrange says, in part, a child born prematurely after the mother contracted measles during pregnancy died shortly after birth. My sincere condolences go to the family during this profoundly difficult time. Her statement goes on to say measles during pregnancy can lead to serious complications, including miscarriage, preterm labor, and stillbirth. The province's website shows a little more than 1,900 cases reported since January. Doctors have been warning about the seriousness of the measles outbreak for months. In July, Alberta reported the most measles cases per capita in North America. Infectious disease experts are worried low immunization rates will lead to even more measles cases in Alberta, especially when the cold weather settles in, saying prior to vaccines, the virus was highly transmissible in schools.
We have a window of time now to get those vaccines up and to ensure that we don't see tragedies like this again in the coming months to years in Alberta.
And the expert that we just heard from says on top of the death, he believes that there are likely a number of Albertans who are now dealing with the long-term effects of measles, saying a number of them were hospitalized, a number of them also in the ICU. Health Canada says, though high risk, those long-term complications include blindness, deafness, as well as brain injury. We'll have more on this part of the story in half an hour. Kent.
Okay, Nicole, thank you. We have some breaking news for you now. Prime Minister Mark Carney will be heading to Washington next week to meet with U.S. President Donald Trump. This will be the second visit for Carney since becoming Prime Minister. Canadian and American officials are trying to reach a deal to end punishing tariffs. A review of the Canada-U.S.-Mexico trade agreement is also underway. President Trump launched a trade war in February, implementing sweeping tariffs on Canadian goods. He has since carved out exemptions for CUSMA-compliant goods. And also new this morning, the Edmonton Oilers have agreed to a multi-year contract extension with head coach Chris Knobloch. TSN's Darren Dreger breaking the news this morning. Knobloch's contract was set to expire at the end of this upcoming season. He has led the Oilers to 2 straight Stanley Cup finals and owns a 94-47-10 regular season record, adding 29 playoff wins in that time. Edmonton is Knobloch's first NHL head coaching job. A man wanted on a Canada-wide warrant connected to extortion cases in Edmonton has been arrested at the airport here. 21-year-old Arjun Shahan is accused of being part of a drive-by shooting in Edmonton and in Sherwood Park and in Winnipeg in 2023. No one was injured in those shootings. A Canada-wide warrant was issued for his arrest last year. Police say he was apprehended last month at the airport, flying in from India. Officers say the alleged ringleader of the extortions, Maninder Dhaliwal, is believed to be in the United Arab Emirates. To date, 6 individuals have been identified in connection to Project Gaslight. Elections Edmonton says after the voting is finished on October 20th, it may take until the next day to find out who won the municipal election. The provincial government banned electronic vote tabulators last spring. Elections Edmonton says ballot counting will begin at the 220 voting stations after they close at 8 o'clock on Election Day. There will also be a count center for all advanced votes, special ballots, and votes from institutions like hospitals and seniors' homes. Counting there will also begin shortly after polls close. Officials say they do not expect full preliminary results until the following day. A popular park in Edmonton, closed for 3 years, is nearly ready to open again. Construction crews are putting the final touches on Horlack Park. Landscaping and electrical work will continue for the next couple of months before the official opening for the public. The city says the project was all necessary because of aging infrastructure.
In order to make sure that we address all the scopes of work that we anticipate around accessibility and safety and rehabbing the facilities and the infrastructure, we really had to focus that into the 3 years.
The work cost $134.5 million. The park is now scheduled to open sometime this winter. All right, let's bring Kim in for a look at the weather forecast. And some fog out there this morning, but it's certainly bright and calm now.
Yeah, we're looking at a lot of sunshine to start off on this Friday. Not bad at all. And from the CTV News drone, you can see we're just above, what was it again? We're above the zoo. Pardon me, just a lot of things going on this morning with the fog and some collisions we're dealing with. We're just above the zoo here, and you can see lots of yellow and orange in the leaves. In the River Valley, reporting some fog, but that has since dissipated. There are some areas, especially on the southwest leg of the Anthony Henday, where drivers are still reporting limited visibility. So just be aware of that if that is part of your morning commute. Kent will have your traffic in just a couple of minutes here. So 5 degrees right now. It should update soon throughout the 8 o'clock hour. We could get up to 8 degrees by the time you drop off the kids. Hopefully a bit warmer than it is now. We're starting off chilly, so fall jackets for today, and then later on this afternoon when it's a bit warmer and the sun is coming down, then it'll feel much warmer. You can peel those layers off. Today, a high of 17 degrees, which is warmer than our average of 14. Last year, we were at 12 degrees, so we're already warmer than 2024. Things look good for this October so far. Here's what's looking like for today. At lunchtime, noon, 15 degrees. Wind will start picking up to 10 kilometers an hour, so just a bit breezy, but not gusting. And then after 5 o'clock, the clouds will come in. Between 7 to 9, we'll see some rain, and that can last into the overnight. Here's a look at your weekend forecast. On Saturday, a high of 12 degrees, which is a bit below seasonal. Then a 30% chance of showers, so that might happen later on in the afternoon hours after 4 o'clock. Sunday, 12 degrees and mainly sunny weather. Your morning just got a whole lot richer. We're giving away a staggering $20,000. Imagine what you could do with an extra 20 grand. A dream vacation, home renovations, paying off bills. The possibilities are endless. So today's code word, it is dollar. Head to the contest page on ctvedmonton.ca, or you can scan the QR code on your screen. Enter dollar with your info for your chance to win CTV Your Morning Edmonton's $20,000 giveaway. And tune in Monday for another code word. Good luck, everyone.
All right, thank you, Kim. Let's take a look at your commute 8 after 8 here on Friday morning. This crash on Stillwater Boulevard and 23rd Avenue, that has closed the intersection in all directions. Police there on scene. This is in the far west in new builds out there, so it is tight for people trying to get out. Fog has been reported on the southwest Henday, the river crossing. That has limited visibility through the rush hour commute. And volume issues northbound 111th Street from Ellerslie Road to 23rd Avenue. That is a lot of construction there for LRT work. That is tight and slow this morning. Well, comfort and happiness are important for aging loved ones, and Kim recently checked out a community known for giving its residents independence.
Harmony at Rutherford is a lovely seniors community on the south side of Edmonton. And today I am joined by resident and co-chair of the social committee, Angel. Good morning, Angel.
Good morning.
How long have you been a resident here for?
Just starting our 3rd year.
So when you first came to visit Harmony at Rutherford, what did you think? What enticed you to come live here?
I like the full suites, the full kitchen, the in-suite laundry, the restaurant. You didn't have set times to go. You weren't herded down like cattle. The openness of the suites, the island I love.
Yeah. Because you're a cook, right?
I'm a cook.
Yes, yes, absolutely.
I like to cook.
And since then, what have you loved most about living here?
Independence. The whole independence. Like I said, you can cook in your suite. You can go down to the restaurant. You can go out for to the restaurants around the area, and I love the space that we have. I have outdoor space on my patio and on either side. I was able to bring my flower pots from our house we sold, and so that I put in a bunch of flowers.
Yeah, it's a cozy patio out there, and you did such a great job too, and a great job decorating your suite. You have since become the chair of the social committee. Did you make a lot of friends here in the last couple of years?
I made a lot of friends, and it's a great way to meet people is to get involved, to volunteer. And there's a lot of positions to volunteer to help out, and you can do as much as you want or as little as you want.
What do you and your girlfriends like doing here? Play cards?
We play cards.
Yeah.
But I like gardening.
Yeah, that's a great hobby to keep with you. Angel, thank you so much for joining us this morning and inviting us into your home.
Thank you.
The open house Harmony at Rutherford is having is tomorrow, October 4th. It runs from noon until 4 o'clock. If you want more information about the event or about the seniors community, head to the website below. Let's take a look at Edmonton's gas prices as we head into the weekend. Overnight, the average cost around town went down a couple of pennies, close to $1.27 per liter. Lowest gas price reported close to $1.16 per liter, and there are a couple of areas reporting that. There's a Tempo on Maple Ridge Drive, $1.15.9. Costco on 149th Street and 124th, close to $1.17 per liter.
Gas prices brought to you by Action Furnace. Fixed right or it's free.
We're in the Trail Appliances kitchen for the 50th anniversary. Now, if you're organizing dinner for Thanksgiving long weekend, it just got a whole lot easier. Teddy Doyle and Eric Renaud from Meathead Specialty Meat and Seafood are here with tasty ideas your family and friends will devour, and they're doing the work for you. So what options does Meathead have for Thanksgiving, Teddy?
So we have the traditional turkey. So we have fresh turkeys on for $6.49 a pound, Hutterite turkeys. We have frozen ones for the smaller ones because the Hutterite ones are like 20, 25 pounds. We also have prime rib roasts. We got leg of lamb. But also, today we're featuring our porchetta.
Yes.
Yeah, so this
I
is
said
another
it wrong,
option.
so it's not porchetta, it's porchetta.
Porchetta.
Okay,
yeah.
so what exactly is that?
So that is a pork belly, same stuff that you make bacon out of. So we rolled it around a pork tenderloin, and we Italian season the whole thing. And then you roll it with your pine nuts and your Saskatoon berries. There's the Canadian touch up.
There's the kid. I was about to say, what do we got going on in the middle here? So why have a porchetta rather than having a turkey? Like, what are the benefits of it? Well, is it just much tastier? Can we use it with the stuff that we usually have as sides for a turkey?
Yes, yeah, 100%. You can use it with your yams, your potatoes, anything like that. Or if you're like me, just meat. Yeah. Just eat that. It's got berries in it.
Do you have it with gravy?
You could, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, because you get a little bit of crispy outside to it. It's an alternative to turkey because a lot of people overcook their turkey or just don't like turkey.
I hear you,
yeah. You can have a prime rib roast as well, but again, you're looking at a substantial cost difference there too.
Now, in your experience, does it make you tired like turkey does?
No. This is more like a bacon.
Very
it's good.
nice.
Everybody loves bacon.
So is it just a bit saltier? And like with the seasoning, what kind of sauces would you recommend for us?
So you actually want to do a little bit more sauce with a blueberry reduction of some sort, or Saskatoon. Yeah, like really, it's just to replace your turkey.
Okay.
That's good.
Okay, and so what else do we have for Thanksgiving? What else is on the menu at Meathead?
So, like we said, we had prime rib roasts. That's always good. Everybody loves that. The turkeys, but we also have turkey rolls coming up. And those are good alternatives to a whole turkey if you don't want to do soups or anything like that. Pure meat, pure yield. And that's always there too. We've got sandwich meats. You can do charcuterie boards, like right here we got antipastos.
Yes, girl dinner is my favorite.
Oh, yeah.
I just like grazing everything. Yeah, maybe I just do that, right?
Yeah.
Okay, but in terms of making things easier, can you buy the entire porchetta just like this?
Yes.
And then how long do we put this in the oven for?
So that is going to be
Holy
about...
smokes, that's heavy, by the way. That was not easy to just pick up.
So you're looking at 20, 25 minutes per pound.
Okay.
So you can buy it per the pound. So if you want 2 pound, 3 pound, we will do more in-store instructions with you on it to tell you how to roast it. Some people use oil to make a nice little puff outside to it, but make it real crispy. But you want it low and slow. So
Yeah. Anything else we should know from Meathead for this Thanksgiving holiday season?
We are open all day, every day. We have everything you need. We've got sides. We don't have potatoes, but maybe in the future.
Okay, yeah.
Right?
Potatoes are easy. The starch is easy, right?
Starch
you
is
guys are
easy.
doing the hard job with the protein, which is the most important
our
part
job.
of the dinner. That's right. Coming up, Teddy and Eric are sharing more options available for your Thanksgiving feast. 8:21 on Friday, October 3rd. This is the view from the Action Furnace River Valley Skycam. Action Furnace, fixed right or it's free. I was hoping that we would gain another degree or two. Hopefully that happens by the time 9 o'clock rolls around, but it is a chilly start. Don't let this Skycam fool you. It is a bit chilly, even though it's very sunny outside, but that definitely puts you in a good mood. Happy Friday, everybody. Welcome to the weekend. Temperatures across the province really vary now. As we have updated just past 8:20 now, there are some areas in southern Alberta showing cooler than freezing. -1 in Red Deer right now, -1 in Coronation, and right at the freezing point for Banff. So that is under frost. For us here in the city, our overnight temperatures not getting that cool just yet, but those temperatures, they will be coming. Some rain in the forecast as well. So later on tonight, in the later evening hours, anywhere between 7 to 9 o'clock, we may see a system move through, and then into the overnight hours, that rain will last. But tomorrow morning will start off sunny, and then this heavy system makes its way through west and southwest region. So mountain parks, Red Deer, Rocky Mountain House, seeing some rain for tomorrow. For the weekend, we're just going to be a little bit below average.
Hi, everyone. Mark Rowe inside the Sports Center newsroom with your must-see moment from Thursday forward. We're going to head to Game 3 in the Bronx. Yankees, Red Sox, top 8. It's 4-0 Yankees. Jaron Duran pops it into foul territory. Ryan McMahon gives chase and makes the fantastic catch. Goes head over heels and flips into the Red Sox dugout, but manages to hold on. McMahon delivering the play of the postseason so far, and he is your must-see moment from Thursday. Friday on TSN, Week 18, and the CFL kicks off with the Rough Riders taking on the Red Blacks. Pre-game coverage begins at 7 Eastern, 4 Pacific. That's all from the Sports Center newsroom. Have a great day.
TSN Must-See Moment, brought to you by Century Casino. 3 great locations, Edmonton, St. Albert, and Century Mile.
Okay, we're back in the Trail Appliances kitchen with Teddy and Eric from Meathead, exploring Thanksgiving dinner ideas. So, turkey, obviously a staple, even though we made, what did we make again? Porchetta, that's right. But do you guys have turkey as an option at Meathead?
Yeah, we definitely have turkey as an option. We got fresh Hutterite turkeys, approximately 20 pounds, $6.49 per pound. If you're looking for something a little smaller, we have frozen turkeys, approximately $5 per pound. We also have handmade turkey rolls here. It's white and dark meat, so it's a thigh and the breast, $13 per pound.
Now, where do you source your fresh turkeys?
So we get our fresh turkeys out of Westlock. It's a Hutterite colony. Okay. Pibroke, I think they're called. And yeah, they only do it twice a year, Thanksgiving and Christmas. So Easter, you're off the hook. They're the best birds you can ever have.
Very nice. Yes. Yeah. Now, if we're having a smaller gathering, what options do you have for us?
Well, these turkey rolls are great for a smaller gathering. It's just the one breast and one thigh wrapped together. We net it here to keep it all in one nice piece.
So how many people would this feed?
That's 2 pounds, so I'd say if you have some smaller eaters, you might be able to get 4 off that. Usually about 3.
And now I'm a huge fan of charcuterie. So what kind of options do we have for, as we like to call, girl dinner with me and my girlfriends with a glass of wine?
So what we have all these cheeses. We've got French cheeses, we've got blue cheeses, Applewood cheddar. It's all located in our store. We've got more than the antipasto quattro meat. So we've got sliced meat. We have a small deli, as well as any of the seasonings you want or jams we carry as well. We've got crackers, jams, anything you want for charcuterie.
And where are you guys guys located?
We're located 7664 156th Street. So literally go to Meadowlark, come down 156, cross the bridge, and we're right beside Uncle Glenn's.
Okay.
So.
Now, once we approach Thanksgiving, it's going to be a very, very busy time. When should we get our order in to ensure that we have food on the table for Thanksgiving from Meathead?
You want to do it now.
Do it like right now, like yesterday almost, yeah.
We got a week,
okay.
Right? So do it as soon as you can, get your order in, so then you can guarantee a nice porchetta, a turkey, a prime rib roast, charcuterie meats, whatever you need. Like we're gonna hook you up if you want to do fondues. Right, that's always an option as well.
So, in terms of the turkey or the porchetta, if we're getting that, are we buying it early, bringing it home, and putting it in the freezer? Or is that an absolute no-no? Everything is fresh.
You should probably buy it. Well, come get it a little closer because we get it fresh every day.
Right.
So, if you get it, so our turkeys come in October 9th. So the big guys, all the parts come in a little earlier, so we have time to prep it. But you want to come in Friday if you're going to cook for Saturday or Sunday. So come in Thursday, Friday, Saturday, you're pushing it, right?
All right, yeah. I feel like we're getting some insider information here. Is there anything else we need to know from Meathead to prepare for our Thanksgiving holiday?
You know what? Actually, we've just launched a new program. It's our loyalty program.
Okay.
So these little cards here, it's 5% back on a cash back until you hit $50, and then you use it in store. Everybody can be a Meathead. Right? Join the club. So as you come back, every purchase goes according.
You guys must have merch for your customers, right? That says Meathead.
Well,
Otherwise, you should. Yeah, you got the hats?
We have hats.
Perfect. Yeah. That's great. Guys, thank you so much. We really appreciate the help for Thanksgiving holiday.
You're welcome.
Check out Meathead's website at meatheadinc.ca, or you can shop online at shop.meatheadinc.ca.
Good morning. It is just about 8:30 here on a Friday. Hopefully you're off to a nice start to your day. And Kim, it is beautiful out there.
I know. The sun came up, and all of a sudden I'm like, where is that fog? We did have some heavy fog on the low-lying areas in the River Valley, but right now, lots of sunshine. That sunshine will last throughout the day. The clouds will start to come in sometime in the late afternoon to early evening hours. We will see some rain in the overnight hours. So I'll have details about that. Your full weekend forecast coming up in just a few minutes. Kent.
All right, thank you, Kim. Well, somewhere in Alberta, a newborn child has died, and the province says that death is linked to measles. CTV's Nicole Lampa is outside the Misericordia Hospital for us this morning with the latest. So, Nicole, this is not the first Canadian child to die from a measles-related issue this year. Do we know more about the first one to happen?
Kent, another baby died in June somewhere in southwestern Ontario. Here in Alberta, the province's dashboard says that the baby here died sometime between September 20th and September 27th, but no location was disclosed. An infectious disease expert says the situation is heartbreaking, especially coming from a disease that is preventable.
We're always just, really hoping that this never finds its way here into our communities, into our province, and tragically it has.
A statement from Health Minister Adriana LaGrange says, in part, a child born prematurely after the mother contracted measles during pregnancy died shortly after birth. My sincere condolences go to the family during this profoundly difficult time. Her statement goes on to say measles during pregnancy can lead to serious complications, including miscarriage, preterm labor, and stillbirth. The province's website shows a little more than 1,900 cases reported since January. Doctors have been warning about the seriousness of the measles outbreak for months. The expert we spoke to says it's unclear if the mother was vaccinated or had a medical condition preventing immunization, but says low vaccination rates are an issue. In July, Alberta reported the most measles cases per capita in North America. Severe outcomes also include blindness, deafness, and brain injury.
In addition to the death, we have seen more than 100 people hospitalized in the province already, with a significant number of those in intensive care units. So just because we have seen our first death doesn't mean that measles has not had a significant impact on the health of Albertans over the last 8 to 9 months.
For more on this story, you can go to our website, ctvnewsedmonton.ca. Kent.
Okay, Nicole, thank you. Well, new this morning, the Canadian Union of Postal Workers says it's expecting 2 offers from Canada Post today. Union workers walked off the job again last week after news of government budget cuts that would include eventually ending door-to-door mail delivery and closing some rural post offices. The union says the changes were announced without proper consultation from the Canadian public. The union says it will carefully review today's offers from Canada Post to see whether they meet the needs of postal workers and the public. And an Alberta Health Union is considering job action.
HSA is strike ready.
Healthcare workers rallying outside the Royal Alexandra Hospital, calling for a better deal from the province. Last month, members of the Health Sciences Association of Alberta rejected a tentative agreement with Alberta Health Services. The deal included a 12% general wage increase over 4 years. While a strike vote has not been called, the union says it's preparing for one.
We have not seen an action like this in the history of this union. So somebody has done something to upset these members, and they're here to put their voice out loud and clear. Not good enough was that deal. Get back to the table, or we're going to move to the next steps.
Following September's vote, Alberta's finance minister said the province was already ready to return to the bargaining table. And we're now a weekend away from a teacher strike, and more childcare options are emerging. The TELUS World of Science is planning day camps for students between the grades of 1 and 5 at a cost of $80 a day. The City of Edmonton is offering to host kids at the John Walter Museum, Fort Edmonton Park, the Edmonton Valley Zoo, and the Matart Conservatory. And Laser City is also preparing for the possibility of day camps.
We don't want there to be a strike, right? We'd love that, everything kind of comes together and we don't have to do these, and we're ready for that to happen.
The City of Edmonton, TELUS World of Science, and Laser City say the camps will continue as long as necessary. First Nations from coastal BC are expressing frustration with a new pipeline proposal by the Alberta government. The province wants to jumpstart the project with taxpayer money and help from 3 Canadian energy companies. First Nation leaders along potential routes say they are against any new pipeline, calling the idea a non-starter. Many chiefs believe the environmental impact is not worth the economic gain, some hoping that laws like the tanker ban are never repealed.
The so-called consultation declaration on the part of Premier Smith is bogus. Our groups are already beginning to mobilize for the battle coming. My message to her is go home, stay home, forget about it. Not going to happen.
The province says it spoke with Indigenous leaders in BC and Alberta earlier this week and, quote, there was more support than anticipated. The province insists the pipeline can be developed responsibly. Well, during the season premiere of MasterChef Canada, the Edmonton contestant was eliminated.
Veronica, did you have salt on your station?
Yes, I did.
Okay. I'm getting under seasoning throughout the whole thing pretty stridently.
Okay.
I like all the different applications to it. I just wanted there to be some salt.
I agree with you. It could definitely use some salt. And I'll say, I think you played it very safe.
Veronica McCrae presenting her fish taco recipe last night, one of 3 chefs sent home during the first episode of season 8. But she says she was just honored to be part of the 15 chefs selected. Now, McCrae is the founder of The Good Place, an Edmonton organization dedicated to strengthening the Indigenous community and empowering others in their healing journey.
As an Indigenous woman, I wanted to bring representation to television in the culinary world and advocate for food security and hopefully be a positive role model for Indigenous youth of Canada.
You can watch that first episode on CTV.ca or on Crave. MasterChef Canada aired at a special time yesterday. Will now move to Tuesdays right here on CTV.
It is 8:37 on Friday, October 3rd. Here's a look through the CTV News drone. You see just a nice skyline shot. Lots of blue in the sky here. Clouds are kind of going away in the distance there, and lots of sunshine to start off this Friday morning. And I just love seeing that CTV News drone shot with the trees in the river valley, because you can see the colors are changing. Not exactly that bright red we love to see yet, but lots of yellow and orange. Right now we're sitting at 5 degrees, so still pretty chilly out there, regardless of the sunshine. So, I mean, it looks warm when you take a look outside of your window, but it is chilly. So start off with a fall jacket if you're dropping the kids off at school at this point, or heading to work, even just walking your dog. It is feeling chilly out there. Today, we're reaching a high of 17 degrees. Our average is 14 for today. Last year, we were at 12. So at least we're beating 2024. The temperatures across the region really vary, especially if you head south down the QE2 towards the Edmonton International Airport. At one point this morning, they were at the freezing mark at 0. Now just above that at 1. 5 in Stony Plain, a bit actually just matching up with the capital region now. It was a bit chillier at 4 degrees, 5 degrees towards the east at Elk Island National Park. So today we will see some of the clouds roll through in the later afternoon to early evening, and then some rain possibly into the overnight. Saturday, 30% chance of rain. It will be quite light in the capital region if we do get any, but then Sunday, sunny weather and a high of 12 degrees. This is your opportunity to travel to the heart of Africa's Namib Desert and come face to trunk with desert elephants. It's an elephant story you won't soon forget. Enter for your chance to win a 4-pack of IMAX passes to Elephants, Giants of the Desert at ctvedmonton.ca. Kent.
All right, thank you, Kim. Let's take a look at your drive now. 8:39 on a Friday morning. We have this crash still present, Stillwater Boulevard and 23rd Avenue. That intersection is closed as police respond. We have volume issues eastbound 111th Ave from 142nd Street to 124th, and volume issues northbound and southbound 50th Street near White Mud Drive. This is all due to the work on the bridge in that area. Well, Canada's population is getting older, and many are looking for comfortable places to live out their final days. Kim checked out one option in our city with a focus on independence.
Harmony at Rutherford is such a lovely seniors community on the south side of Edmonton. And today I'm joined by President Rod Osborne and his mother, Faye, who is a resident here. Rod, let's talk about when you created a community like this. What were some of your top priorities that you had in mind?
Well, I wanted to create a community that healthy, active seniors would want to come and live in our community. The traditional facilities have some drawbacks that we wanted to overcome by the design and how we organize the activities. So primarily, we provided full apartment units so that they would feel they had the same amenities that they had in their house. We wanted to provide a franchise restaurant to improve the food and give choices, and have their family and friends come and join them for meals, which is such a good social time. And lastly, we wanted to create the amenity spaces so they could enjoy the activities that they normally enjoyed prior to moving here with people they meet here or friends that move here with them. And that has turned out to be very attractive to today's seniors.
For sure. Faye, how long have you lived here for?
I've been here 2 years now.
And what do you love most about Harmony at Rutherford?
Well, obviously, it's the independence of it. You can come and go as you like. You can cook as little or as much as you like. And your laundry in your suite is important.
And just as your mother said, the independence is huge. What have you heard from other residents in speaking with them?
Yeah, the independence is really important, and having an apartment unit that is sufficient to do what they did at home prior to getting here is really an important aspect. And then secondly, having the amenity space for the residents to organize themselves to do the activities that they enjoy when they want to do it. And that's turned out to be a really important part. I say to most of the people that I have built the building, but the residents have built the community that they want and they enjoy.
Well said. Rod, Faye, thank you very much for joining us this morning.
Thank you for having us.
So the open house, actually, I would say come down and check it out for yourself. There is an open house happening tomorrow, October 4th, from noon until 4 o'clock. If you want any information about that event or everything that's happening at Harmony at Rutherford, head to the website below.
Thank you, Kim. We're still ahead. What happens inside our brains during fall that makes us love the season so much?
Your Morning Edmonton's Kitchen, provided by Trail Appliances and KitchenAid. Wake up with Your Morning Edmonton, brought to you by CIR Realty, making real estate easy in Edmonton, Red Deer, and Central Alberta.
Well, the leaves are turning, the sweaters are out, and pumpkin spice is abundant. Many love the change of season, but it's much more than a cozy fall vibe. Neuroscientist and best-selling author Sarah Baldeo is here to explain why our brains love the fall and why this season might be best for changes. Sarah, this is a fascinating discussion. You said before that our brains don't really run on a January to December calendar. What do you mean by that?
So I know everyone is ready for pumpkin spice season, right? We've all been to our Starbucks, but what's interesting is that a lot of people don't know that January to December as a calendar didn't always exist. In fact, it's really new to humans, and it's called the Gregorian calendar. It didn't start until the 1500s. So, in Roman times, the calendar started in March, and it only lasted 10 months, as an example. So when people say, January is the beginning of the year, that's actually not what our brain is reacting to neurologically. It doesn't represent the reality of how your brain evolved. Fall is wired into us as a natural reset. So long before Google calendars and planners and New Year's countdowns, we lived by the seasons, and the harvest was the time for us to evaluate, to let go of what we didn't need, to plan for what was coming next. And that's why your brain reacts to fall this way. September often feels like this fresh start, even for, people who are not experiencing back to school.
Okay, so that I've often associated that feeling to sort of the beginning of school coming up in the fall, but this makes a lot more sense too. What's going on inside the brain at this time of the year?
So, in North America, at least, we're getting that cooler air, that shift in temperatures. The shorter days are activating our metabolism, our nervous system, and the brain, when it starts to see these environmental changes, it really gets primed for planning and that harvest and that collecting, and kind of what we used to really focus on in agricultural times was this farming. So fall in your brain, it invites things like reflection, transformation, and even forming habits. So the same way the trees are letting go of their leaves, people are letting go of the habits that no longer benefit them. So here's the biohack from a neuroscientist. When you align your habits and new habits that you want with these seasonal and environmental cues, you increase the probability of them being successful and your brain encoding them. And that's why, these New Year's resolutions, they have an 80% failure rate. The ones in fall are much more likely to stick because your brain existed long before this current calendar that we see.
Fascinating stuff. Now, we mentioned the pumpkin spice and cinnamon. Certainly people fall in love with the scent of the season. Why does that trigger us so strongly?
This is fascinating, Kent. Smell is the only sense of all of our senses that has a direct line into what's called your limbic system, your fight or flight response system. That's your brain's emotional and memory processing supercenter. Now, that smelling center, it's called your olfactory bulb. It collects right into your memory center and your emotion center. What does that mean? When you smell these wonderful scents of pumpkin spice lattes, it actually bypasses logic and it triggers these instant associations. That's why when you smell cinnamon or roasting turkey, it transfers you back to your grandmother's kitchen or Thanksgiving. These are not just cozy cliches. It's actually neural cues. So when you pair smells with trying to build new habits, you're going to strengthen memory. And yes, I suggest people light that pumpkin spice latte candle or any of those fall smells when you are trying to build a new habit. It's not just about atmosphere and ambiance. It is scientific activation of your brain.
That is fascinating stuff, Sarah. As always, it's been a fascinating and interesting conversation. Looking forward to more. You can find Sarah's book, 100 Ways to Future-Proof Your Brain, at Indigo Books, and you can connect with her at sarahbaldeo.com. Still ahead, an award-winning chemist who is out of his element. How one professor's puzzles have made their way into the New York Times.
And I like trying to come up with new, clever themes that other people haven't thought about before.
Programming brought to you by James H. Brown Injury Lawyers, the heavy hitters of injury law.
We're coming up on 9 o'clock on this Friday, October 3rd. And boy, do the trees look really nice above Laurier this morning through the CTV News drone. Sunshine to start off the morning. We will be seeing lots of sun throughout the rest of the day, but into the later afternoon, into the early evening hours, we'll see some cloud move through and then possibly some rain lasting into the overnight. But overall, it's been a great morning. We did have some fog reported in the lower lying areas in the River Valley. That has cleared out now, just a lot of sunshine. So temperatures across the province, we are seeing some freezing temperatures, including in Banff. Red Deer was also near freezing, -1 in Coronation. So it's getting chilly. Not so much for us right now, but it is coming. For the weekend, looks pretty decent. There's a 30% chance of rain for tomorrow for the Edmonton region, a high of 12 degrees. And same thing with Sunday, but a mix of sun and cloud, mostly on the sunny side. But we're just a little bit below seasonal for this weekend. Kent.
Thank you, Kim. Well, more than 24 burrowing owls are getting a head start on life thanks to Alberta's Wilder Institute. And burrowing owls are typically laying around 9 eggs per nest. The smallest and youngest hatchlings often do not survive in the wild. These little ones are collected and spend their first winter at the Calgary Zoo. They are then released in male-female pairs in hopes that they will reproduce the following spring. Last year's cohort produced 70 fledglings across 13 nests in the wild. Burrowing owls are listed as endangered. And a University of British Columbia chemistry professor's puzzling hobby is being recognized by the New York Times. With more, here's CTV's Adam Sawatsky.
This is not a story about realizing a childhood dream, because back then, Mark McLaughlin was unaware of a crucial reality.
I'd never even heard of the New York Times when I was a kid.
Instead, Mark would regularly borrow his mom's magazines to complete the printed puzzles before learning how to effortlessly solve a Rubik's Cube.
Everybody would bring their cubes to me at school, and I would solve their cubes.
While he would grow up to become an award-winning chemistry professor, dean of science at UBC, and prolific Aloha shirt wearer,
And I feel like they brighten the day for everybody else in the room.
It wasn't until Mark was pursuing his postgraduate work at MIT in the late 90s that he discovered the pleasure of completing a crossword.
I just completely forget about work and that I have another life and immerse myself in the puzzle.
Until one day, Mark wondered, who actually makes the crosswords?
Found out that anyone can submit a puzzle to the New York Times.
So, Mark taught himself how to design crosswords by hand, which can take between 30 to 80 hours, and started submitting them.
And promptly got it rejected and tried over and over.
But Mark persevered until he finally got his first puzzle published in the Los Angeles Times. Since then, Mark has upgraded to using a computer to make more than 75 puzzles.
And I like trying to come up with new, clever themes that other people haven't thought about before.
While having a complex puzzle published can earn more than $2,200, Mark says seeing his work printed in the prestigious New York Times Weekend Edition is priceless.
And Sunday New York Times has felt the best.
While the puzzle-loving boy he once was never knew to dream this big, the professor he now is hopes his puzzling pastime, like teaching in Aloha shirts or riding with dinosaurs, proves to be both educational and entertaining.
I hope that people enjoy it and learn something new.
Adam Sawatsky, CTV News, Vancouver.
That was very fun. My wife and I do the Reader's Digest one every day.
Yeah.
It's a little easier than New York Times.
You haven't graduated to New York Times yet.
For sure.
Enjoy the beautiful weather, everybody. Just a little bit of rain later on this afternoon, but overall, a very nice start to the weekend.
Absolutely. We'll see you on Monday.
Your Morning Edmonton's Kitchen, provided by Trail Appliances and KitchenAid.